We are back to square one. Pasig is fighting for survival. Caloocan is looking to advance to the semis to take on the Pampanga Giant Lanterns.
The star of this team is truly the system of Coach Boyd Fernandez.
Coach Boyd, in any league that he coached, he's a champion coach. I really have to give my best coaching out there.
But they were a defensive team that faltered towards the latter parts of the shot clock of the offensive squad.
Credit to Coach Season and the rest of the Caloocan. They really played well. Hindi nawawala eh. Nandun lagi eh. Nakadikit pa rin sa amin. We still have another game to play, so we'll be ready.
And again, welcome to the Mpbl playoffs.
And after 2 games, they meet one more time for the 6th time this season. We are coming to you live from the Caloocan Sports Complex to feature 2 teams who now figure in a do-or-die matchup. Once again, you're looking at the crowd here at the Caloocan Sports Complex. Robbie Manalang on your screens, one of the anchors of the offense in the defense of the Pasig City MCW Sports Squad. He has hit some timely baskets in this series, just like that man, Ryan Costello, one of the leading scorers of the whole league this season, 17 points per game to lead Pasig to the 5th spot in the Northern Division. That guy, Gabby Espinas, hit the game winner over Pasig in Game 1 to earn the right to get a 1-0 advantage. Real Cervantes also had some of his moments this season. But once again, the clash of the dark horses, they meet once again. We are back to square one here at Game 3 between Pasig City and the Caloocan Batang Kankalu. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Abby Palanya, joined by Coach Mike Perez. And Coach Mike, it has been a very close series between Caloocan and Pasig. What has each team need to do? What is the most important thing para sa parehong koponan sa laro na to?
Well, I think the most important thing is for them to be finishing strong. In the 2 games that we've seen, the team that actually dominated the stats that mattered lost the game. So it really matters on how you end the game. You got to finish strong, either Pasig or Caloocan.
Well, Caloocan was able to do that in Game 1. Pasig naman ang gumawa nun sa Game 2. Joining us from the sidelines is Miss Mika Abisamis. Mika, you were able to talk to some players of both squads. What were you able to get from them?
Clearly, both games 1 and 2 were equally thrilling. Game 1 was owned by a frontline guy, while Game 2 was owned by a backcourt guy. And while both teams were already effective in the series, nakausap ko yung mga players at sabi nila sa akin ang isang napaka-importanteng bagay daw ngayong araw na to ay composure. Who will come out more composed? Will it be the leadership of Rob Manalang or will it be the experience of Gabby Espinas? Let's see. Have you, Coach Mike?
Thank you so much, Mika. We'll be hearing from her later on. And gaya nga na sinabi ni Coach Mike, it's really the composure that's going to be important for both teams here. Now, before we talk about the last game, let's look at the updated playoff bracket sa ating parehong division. Pampanga already advancing, Nueva Ecija and San Juan also sa north, and Batangas doing the same in the south.
Yeah, very important. And I think the playoffs right now are really very competitive, very unpredictable. You wouldn't know who's going to advance on the next round.
This is actually the first Game 3 we're playing this season, so it's definitely going to be a close one, and that's what I foresee, just like the previous 2 games. Now, let's talk about some key players para sa parehong koponan. Unahin na natin sa Pasig, si Kenny Rocacorva. This guy has been a revelation this season. He has been an absolute great player para kay Coach Boyd Fernandez, doing it on both ends of the floor, slashing towards the basket, and also playing good defense.
Well, I think Kenny was really sensational, especially in that 3rd quarter where they really gave the team a lift. Ending up in that 16-point production in that game. It was 5 of 16 from the field, but more importantly, it's the willingness to be able to take those shots, especially in the 3rd quarter when the battle was back and forth.
That's what they were been telling him about this season. Now, early on this year, that would he have that capability to take shots when it mattered the most? Dahil nga bata pa, so they were questioning his capability in the end game, but he's showing up here in the playoffs, so that's exactly what Coach Boyd Fernandez wants from him in this particular game as well. Now, tawid naman tayo sa isang key player na kabilang koponan sa Caloocan, si Ronnie Matias. This guy has been a veteran. We've seen him a lot throughout the years, but he has still continued to deliver the goods para kay Coach Boyd season.
Well, it really mattered, his productions in that game number 2. Look at that. From 1 point to 10 and shooting 5 out of 6 from the field. Really a matter of contribution, lalo na when you need the bigs of Caloocan to dominate this game.
And Ronnie Matias is definitely going to be another key factor here para kay Coach Robert Season if Caloocan wants to have a good chance of edging out Pasig here in Game 3. Let's talk about that Game 2 that happened dito mismo sa Caloocan Sports Complex. If Gabby Espinas was able to hit that game winner with only 0.6 left in the game clock in the Pampanga, well, here Pasig was able to hit timely shots in the fourth quarter. Robbie Manalang led the charge for them in that game, Coach Mike.
Well, definitely the leadership of Rob Manalang, especially in that huge 10-point quarter of him, really led the team into that win. Like Game 1, the Game 2 also was a nail-biter. But you see right here, the field goal percentages almost the same. When you look at the threes, it's 30% versus 21% in favor of Pasig. I feel that Pasig is a three-point shooting team. They got to go back to where they are and who they are and run a little bit more because I feel they only had 11 pass break points, which is very much under the value of what they do in transition.
Well, actually, kahit nga yung three-point shooting ng Caloocan, that's also very low for them considering the three-point production that they've had over the past few games, especially nung nag-take over si Coach Robert Season dito sa Batang Kankalu. Now, everybody, it's time, finally, our first Game 3 of our 2023 Mpbl playoffs. Huwag na natin patagalin pa. Let's turn you over to Richard Tapos.
Good evening, mga kaliga, here at the Caloocan Sports Complex. This is the Manny Pacquiao's Mpbl Season 5 Playoffs, presented by Extreme. It's a deciding Game 3 for the North Division quarterfinals between the Pasig City and your Caloocan Batang Kankalu. Now let's carry on the starting lineups, beginning with the Pasig City MCW Sports. At guard number 22, Robbie Manalang. Playing center number 18, Jason Ballesteros. Power forward number 11, Mike Maestre. Small forward number 8, Kenny Roca Curba. And at point guard number 4, Ryan Costello. Pasig City MCW Sports is led by Boyet Fernandez. His assistants are Gino Manuel, Richard Rosales, and Ivan Milan. The team owner is Mr. Buddy Encarnado. And now, get up, get pump up, and make some noise for your Caloocan Batang Kankalu! Starting at guard number 7, Jeremy Cabanag. Guard number 23, your very own from Barangay 40, Irvin Palencia. Coming in at center number 27, Gabby Espinas. Small forward number 29, Joko Tayongtong. And at power forward number 45, Mac Paracael. Their head coach is Ronnie Duhilio. Assistant coaches Carla Nusa, Hector Serrano, and Peter Santamaria. Team manager Mac Robert De Tiandu. Team governor Jeremy Tin. Coaching consultant Robert Season. The team owners are Mr. Dennis Flores and Caloocan City 1st District Honorable Congressman Oka Malapitan.
Our primary protagonists for Game 3, Robbie Manalang, Ryan Costello, Jason Ballesteros, Kenny Roccurva, and Mike Maestre para sa Pasig. Sa kabila naman, the home squad will be parading Jeremy Cabanag, Irvin Palencia, Gabby Espinas, Joko Tayongtong, and Mac Baracael. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is Game 3 between Pasig City and the Caloocan Batang Kankalu. We are live from the Caloocan Sports Complex. Javi Balanya joined by Coach Mike Perez and Miss Mika Abisamis. Coach Mike, almost the same set of starters para sa parehong koponan.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even the way you started Game 1 and Game 2, you don't want to tweak it. Stay with the course, stay with how you started, and eventually finish stronger as the game goes.
After a violation on the jump ball, Caloocan will get first possession here. Irvin Palencia to curl it. Joko Tayong-tong tries to get the bump. Last minute pass. Espina's short corner jumper is good.
Well, I feel it's important for Caloocan to see Gabby Espinas make baskets from the outside early in this game. He's one of the consistent factors contributing para sa Caloocan, and you want him to be starting out really strong in as much as ending it right in this game 3.
Yeah, aside from his attacks from the post, that short corner,
Right.
he has made a living from that spot throughout his career.
Yeah, yun ang nagpapahirap sa kanya. I mean, he's comfortable at the post, he's comfortable at the short corner, can hit those middies. You have to go out and close out on him. If you do, he's gonna attack you around the middle.
Costello will set up the table here for Pasig. This is the first possession of the game para kay Coach Boyd Fernandez. Maestre being guarded closely by Bancael Rocacurva on the backcourt. Looks like that's going to be a goaltending against Caloocan. So that basket by Rocacurva will count. That puts Pasig on the board for the first basket of the game.
Yeah, and the Caloocan right now doing the exact defense that they did in the second half of game number 1. In-your-face defense, but if you're guarding that close, you're gonna leave it up open for a backdoor. Exactly what Kenny did on that baseline cut.
And on the replay, it wasn't really clear if may nakatama ng board, but after the shot, gumalaw kasi yung ring.
Right.
Our referees are checking the replay if it was indeed interference on the basket. Our referees for this game, Jonald Belnas, Alan Manzano, Benji Estroga, and the fourth man on the sideline, Rodrel Brila. So the basket will not count. The official call will be a jump ball possession for Pasig. So it's going to be 14 seconds back on the shot clock para dito sa mga nakaputi.
Well, the baseline out of bounds is actually one of the really good sets here by Coach Boyet for Pasig. So, you know, you got to be mindful where Robbie Manalang is going to go, even Kenny Rocacurva, once that ball gets in.
Now, Coach Mike, as Pasig inbounds from the baseline, let's talk about the keys to victory para kay Coach Boyd Fernandez.
For Coach Boyet, it's really the 3R+1. When we talk about the 3R, we talk about Ryan, Robbie, and Rocacurva. Those three guys should really contribute quickly. And the +1 is really sino yung pang fourth guy that would add up to the contribution. That bench guy in game number 1 was Josan Nimes. In game 2, that was Tyrone Chan. Question now who's gonna be that fourth guy para dito sa Pasig. Of course, you gotta clean up the glass because you gotta make that run and efficiently making threes because that's really who they are. They make threes. That's what the Pasig team is.
Rocacurva leaves it for Costello. Sorry, miss. Rocacurva passes up on the 3. Barakel is right in front of him. That's a good challenge. Long rebound goes to Gabby Espinas. Ngayon naman, Coach Mike, para kay Coach Robert Cesar at para sa Batang Kankalu, what are the keys to victory for their squad today here in Game 3?
Well, I think the very first one is they gotta dominate the bigs game. I mean, Mac Baracael, Gabby Espinas, Real Cervantes, those three guys are gonna be crucial in the run of Caloocan. And of course, you gotta have help from the bench. In the second game, it was actually Sanga and Matias who came in. While in the first game, it was Cervantes and Cassie. Now again, similar to how Pasig was, sino yung magiging bench contributors para dito sa Caloocan. And lastly, I'd like to see them run the break. I mean, if you control the offensive, the defensive rebounds, it should be a trigger for you to start a fast break game. And so far, in fast breaks in the last 2 games, 6 and 7 points, very unlikely, especially I have a Jeremar Cabanag and Ervin Palencia on the floor for the Caloocan team.
Well, we're going to keep tabs on those keys to victory for both squads as we progress here in this game. So far, the score is 2-0. Maestre still couldn't get Pasig on the board. And we're already almost 2 minutes into the first quarter. Nakatayo pa rin ang bench ng Pasig City because they haven't scored in this game.
Well, you got to credit the defense of Caloocan. They're really giving Pasig a very uncomfortable stance offensively. And so they're always in their face, on ball or off ball, they're on their man.
Maestre finally gets Pasig on the board. He's averaging close to 7 points per game in this series. That's a block on the other side. Gabby Espinas getting rejected by one of the best shot blockers of his generation, Jason Ballesteros.
Right, you get to the 2 biggest men and you know, really huge contributors para dito, offensively and defensively. Ganda ng laban na yan at the low block.
Robbie Manalang working the 2-man game with Maestre.
with a cutting Ballesteros. A lot of hands there from the black shirts. There's a takedown by Maestre. Tayong Tong is on the floor holding on to his head.
Wow, just really got down on the floor as they got that ball stolen off that dive on the other end by Jason Ballesteros, as that defense was really on ball para dito sa Caloocan. It's still making the Pasig team very uncomfortable offensively, Javi.
And here you see that steal by Joko Tayong, making itong Pasig very uncomfortable with making those passes, especially in the interior. And that was the collision with Mike Maestre. Our referees are once again going to review this one to see if it will merit an unsportsmanlike foul. This series has been the closest so far that we've had in this year's playoffs. Coach, 27 lead changes in 20 deadlocks between Game 1 and Game 2. Abangan natin kung ilan ang magiging ties at lead changes sa game na to, because as we've tried to predict at the top of our coverage, that this is going to be another close one.
Yeah, and there was no team that actually led by double digits in either of those two games. So really just a matter of adjustments para dito sa mga players and coaches. And you talked about Javi in that game number 1. You were saying that the star of the team of Pasig was the system of Coach Boyet. Well, I think the same also for the coaching staff of Caloocan, them getting that ball inside to the bigs and allowing the other ball movements to be in there, coming off that low block where they facilitate, and if there's nothing there, that's going to be the point of attack.
Number 11, Mike Maestre is first. Upon review, there was an unsportsmanlike foul on number 4, Ryan Costello, for excessive contact.
All right,
First
so there you have it.
Ryan Costello.
Richard Tapos has just announced the final verdict. After that sequence, Maestre will be called for the personal, and then it was Ryan Costello who was called for an unsportsmanlike foul.
Yeah, because I think that was the way that it looked. It was a play on the head, and it hit the head of Joko, making him fall on the ground. But I guess sa Pasig, mas concerning dito is we played almost 2.5 minutes already, and they haven't made a field goal yet out of their 2 attempts. And so, this is normally a high-scoring and, a high-powered team, lalo na if you have Ronnie, Roca Curva, and Ryan on the floor at the same time. Those 3 can produce anytime, and it's just, a matter of opportunities before they get those baskets in para sa Pasig.
Tayong Tong has split from the line, but Caloocan will keep ball possession. Tayong Tong hasn't really been scoring a lot in this series, only 5 points in Game 2, but he did have 5 rebounds and 5 assists. And there is another foul. It could be on Ryan Costello. That's going to be number 2.
Oh, wow. And those were 2 quick ones. And Ryan Costello, who normally plays defensively on ball, just like he does, this time around, he got called for that foul. You got to defend without fouling if you're Pasig.
Barakael passes up on the 3, gets the step, but that is going to be an expiration of the shot clock para dito sa Batang Kankalu. Lorenzo now set to check in para kay Ryan Costello, who now has 2 fouls. This is a big development para sa Pasig City. Let's see how they can do without their star guard.
That's going to be very important. Remember, we talked at the top of the coverage, the keys to victory, the very first one would be the 3 R's of Pasig. And so you have -1 right now, and somebody's got to step up from the bench.
Manalang off to Jeff Lorenzo. Ballesteros. A little X-action here for Pasig City. Good ball denial for the Batang Kankalu. Roca Curva sidestepping into the lane. There's going to be another foul, this time against Caloocan. And it's going to be 2 shots at the line for Kenny Roger Roca Curva.
Well, first of all, ang ganda ng depensa ng Caloocan. Very aggressive, on ball, stays on face. Ang question na lang dito, how much do you sustain it for the entire game? I mean, to make sure that you're able to pace yourself so that towards the end, where the game really matters, you're still going to be there doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's right, Coach, because we've seen a lot of this from Caloocan throughout the entire year. When they've started off games very well defensively, the energy, the pressure is there during maybe the first 2 quarters, or maybe even just the first quarter, and it will falter throughout the game. As this free throw by Kenny Roger Roca Curva is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
Yeah, but I like how I think it was Irvin Palencia who was guarding Roca Curva at that instance. He stayed behind that ball. There's a defensive scheme right now that, you know, they say instead of staying on ball, you got to be behind the man so that he doesn't see you, so that you can tap the ball from behind. Unfortunately, na-foul lang yung attempt na yun ni Kenny Roca Curva.
We are knotted at 3 apiece. Valencia leaves it for Espinas. Gabby, that's going to be a goaltending.
Yeah.
Definitely a touch on the net by Jason Ballesteros.
Well, Jason immediately acknowledging that, you know, a little bit tempted to try and get that ball outside.
For now, let's turn you over to Miss Mika Bisamis. Mika, what do you have for us?
Throughout the 3 games of the series, Coach Boyet Fernandez kept emphasizing how he wanted his team to synchronize bilang ang lineup nga nila ay hindi kasing loaded ng Batang Kangkalu. By synchronize, he meant just sway with what they show you, which worked in Game 2. They just kept with the flow till the end. So I asked, were you completely satisfied with that win? And he said, well, I fixed some defensive plays, but generally, I just asked the guys to mentally prepare. Pagdating naman daw kasi sa naging performance nila, a win is a win. If it ain't broke, why fix it? But today, I hope they get to fix this early sit-down of Ryan Costello. Have you, Coach Mike?
Thank you so much, Mika. Mental preparation, that is exactly one of the biggest things that any team in the playoffs needs to take care of, because yung physical aspect, dapat during the regular season, ayos na yan.
Right, exactly. And I like when he said that, you know, if it ain't broken, then, you know, why change it? Keep the same scheme altogether and have them prepare mentally.
Meanwhile, there's another foul here against Caloocan, to the dismay of Coach Robert Season, who was jumping up and down when that foul was called on Achi Inigo. Therefore, Jeff Lorenzo will be taking 2 shots now.
And the thing is that they're actually fouling them in the act, and so it always leads them to the free throws. This is what, the 3rd trip already on the free throw line para dito sa Pasig, and you know, they're still scoreless from the field. That, I think, is more concerning, especially if you're Rob Manalang and Kenny Roca Curva, where you get your rhythm from seeing baskets fall.
5-4 after the trip to the line by Jeff Lorenzo. 6 minutes and 20 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Barakael will pull up from 3. That's no good. Board belongs to Robbie Manalang. Still no field goal, as mentioned by Coach Mike Perez para dito sa Pasig City. Lorenzo, a little hesitation. Scoops a pass. Mestre couldn't handle. Batang Kangkalu on the counter. Barakael tried to trail the play. That's picked up by Pasig. Manalang pulls up from 3. Still no field goal here for Pasig City. Barakael, Espinas is wide open. And that is another basket on the break para sa Caloocan.
Caloocan collectively in the last 2 games have scored only a total of 13 fast break points. And early in the first quarter, them seeing this, exactly what we were talking about. Get those turnovers, control the defensive board, and push that rock.
So far, it's the Batang Kangkalu who's been dictating the tempo in Game 3 early on. And that's going to be a turnover against Pasig City. Defense has really been very stifling here today, Coach.
And man, Pasig really very uncomfortable right now offensively. They don't know where that first field goal is gonna come, but meantime, Gabby Espinas trailing for that finish from Mac Barakael.
Defense to offense, that's really what Coach Robert Season wants his team to work on here in this game. And so far, they've been doing a good job. Another chance to extend the lead, and they do. That's Jeremer Cabanag getting a right layup conversion. 9-4 now.
Well, Jeremer's one of those guys that's really needing to step up para dito sa Caloocan. In the first game, he had 12 points. Game number 2, he had 2 points.
Well, talk about stepping up here in the first quarter. That's already back-to-back baskets for the former San Beda Red Lion, and that is off another Pasig turnover here, Coach Mike.
Wow, and you know, the points of turnovers right now, that's 3 already. Or 5 rather, para dito sa Caloocan.
Manalang throws it away once again. Palencia leads the pack. Achi Inigo couldn't handle the drop pass. Still, you could say excellent recovery on the transition defense para sa Pasig City. But again, Coach Mike, another turnover para sa kanila.
Well, definitely, when you talk about pace in this game, so far, this is controlled by Caloocan. Rebounds, runs. On ball, gotta make it difficult and make uncomfortable para dito sa Pasig. Look at this full court press right now. They're not really looking to steal. They're making them delay that ball from behind and make it difficult as they move in front. 0 out of 3, 5 out of 7. Look at that. And that's why Caloocan is right now up.
Pasig now opts to go smaller with Tonton Peralta checking in to play the 4 spot. Peralta, he can hit that outside shot, and he does finally the first field goal of the game para sa Pasig City.
We talked about a 4th player that needs to combine with the 3 R's of Pasig. And that could be that one guy right there. Peralta could hit it from the outside.
Peralta did play a good game 1, but in game 2, he was absent para sa Pasig City. Inigo now, cross court to their captain, Jogi Laude. A little bit of trouble with the rock. Palencia from way out. That's going to be a miss galing sa Caloocan.
Now, if you're Pasig, you gotta build on this. 2 successful opportunities to score and come back with another field goal.
Costello is back in the game. He has 2 fouls. For those of you who just tuned in, Ballesteros the offensive rebound. Ballesteros with a score.
And Peralta's going to be a problem here for Caloocan. They've been forced to do long closeouts on Peralta, opening up that restricted lane for Jason Ballesteros to patrol offensive rebounds. And he's done another basket right there para dito sa Pasig.
11-9, the lead is 2. At si Inigo from downtown.
When you're switching defense, you got to be up there quickly. Never get delayed. And right there, Achi making them pay on that switch.
Inigo has only scored 2 points in the entire series. And with this basket, he has already surpassed his total from games 1 and 2. And this was that basket by Achi Inigo, former FEU Tamarao. One of the most cerebral point guards that we have here in the Mpbl.
Definitely, Javi, I agree with that. Now, you know, coming inside the play right now, a bunch of firepowers here. Real Cervantes and Paul Sanga, your top scorers from game number 1 and game number 2 respectively for Caloocan. And ang dangerous dito, they're coming off the bench with everybody almost played the entire quarter and huffing and puffing.
Robbie Manalang has been the top scorer for Pasig in this series. 17 points in game 1, 23 points plus player of the game honors in game 2. A split at the line, 14-10 now is the score. 2 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the opening frame. Inigo calls out the play. Baracael finds a ceiling Cervantes met by 2 defenders. Laude stripped. Oh, that is gonna be a foul on Costello. That's number 3 on Ryan.
Oh man, that's gotta be huge. We've talked about defending without fouling. You know, you can't do that if you're Ryan. You have to be more mindful of your value on the team.
And that's very peculiar coming from a guy like Ryan Costello, who has played solid defense throughout this entire year. In fact, one of the best and smartest defenders, because he does stifle his offensive man without fouling.
Right. And man, if you're a Pasig fan right now, you really hope that Ryan's gonna come back and be better and stronger, maybe in the second quarter and the third. Or even as a possibility, he's gonna sit out the second quarter and come back in the third.
Costello picked up 2 early fouls in the first half of this first quarter. Then Coach Boyd Fernandez gambled, put him in a few minutes ago. And now Ryan has 3 fouls in this game, and we are just winding down this opening frame. Peralta trying to initiate the offense here para sa Pasig. Corpus, first appearance in this game. Ball is tapped out of bounds, and it looks like it's going to be a foul. Referee John Belna signaling a personal against Macbarakael.
One of the defensive changes that Coach Roberts actually done for Caloocan is that they're not getting into that two-man game. Once they see that two-man game getting formed, they actually ice that action, meaning they have one guy waiting in the drop coverage, whatever comes out of that two-man game, so that there'll be no switching. Everybody's going to stay on their man, and if somebody tries to dive towards the basket, that drop guy from Caloocan is going to get that defensive stop.
And so far, it's been working, Coach.
Exactly.
Usually, you would just blitz the ball handler if you're going against Pasig, a team with very dynamic guards in Costello and Manalang.
And ang nagwo-work pa yan sa Caloocan because the shots from the outside haven't really fallen except for that Peralta 3. And so if you get any other guy outside of Peralta, they'd be willing for that two-man game to just be free from up top and wait for that drop coverage.
Pasig is 1 out of 4 from the outside in this game, but so is Caloocan. Paul Sanga couldn't get that basket to drop. Robbie Manalang aggressively being defended by Jogi Laude. Manalang couldn't lose him. Cervantes helps Peralta. That's off to the right. Manalang free from 3. That's good.
There you go. You know, you catch it, you're most free on the catch, and you got to take it, especially if you're Rob Manalang.
We are now tied at 14 apiece.
I'm sure Coach Boyet heaved a sigh of relief, seeing his best scorer so far in these 2 games finally sinking a 3.
Here off the offensive rebound, the ball was loose, scrambled for the basketball, ending up with Robbie Manalang, who drains his first 3 of the ball game. Very good sign for Pasig City.
And coaches actually love that action. Pagka nagmintis yung tira and you get that offensive rebound, some coaches will tell you, go kick it out on the 3 because that's the one that's most often for the most part. And you're going to have a long closeout. If they close out long, then you can attack it back.
Inigo now with 4 points after that split at the line. You just saw his numbers from the series. As I mentioned earlier, only 2 points prior to this game. And meanwhile, there is another foul. This is going to be against Jogi Laude. Both teams, actually, Coach, have been committing a lot of personals. Our referees really calling it tight.
Yeah, and both teams are actually very high energy. They want to get in your face defense each and every time. But again, you got to be mindful of foul situations, lalo na on a personal. And I hope they learned something from how Ryan did in that first quarter. Those 3 fouls are going to hurt them, but hopefully Lorenzo is going to be stepping up and helping up cover that spot left by Ryan Costello.
That's the tricky thing when you want to play aggressive pressure defense. It's knowing when is enough to avoid those fouls being called on you.
Correct. Yung talaga na dumepensa pero wag kang pa-foul eh. Yung importante doon lalo na kung dikit yung depensa mo.
16-15, Pasig now with their first taste of the lead. Sanga, step to the side, 3, no good. There's going to be another foul on the loose ball, and it's going to go against Tyrone Chan.
This guy is one of the factors, I guess, that could step up production-wise para dito sa Pasig. Because right now, if he's going to get in the 2-man game and he slips, you cannot do that drop coverage anymore because Tyrone's going to hit you from the outside. So you have to be cognizant of the movement of Tyrone Chan, especially on those high middle or side ball screens.
Bonsubre ties things up once again. Junjun Bonsubre, a constant starter when he was with the other teams here in the league prior to his stint here with Caloocan, but he has had to play behind such talented big men in this Batang Kankalu squad this year. Gabby Espinas, Leo Cervantes, Mac Barakael. Even then, he has proven his worth as a great role player para sa koponan nila.
Oh, and definitely the 3rd and the 4th quarter contributions of Bonsubre has been key on those games.
A turnover para sa Batang Kankalu. 17-16, under 40 seconds to play here in the first. Manalang couldn't get that 3-pointer to drop. A 6-second differential between shot clock and game clock. At Inigo, hooks a pass. Cervantes will not hesitate. At short, offensive rebound to Caloocan. They can go for the final shot of this first quarter. Laude gets a screen from Rail. Sanga gets the pass. Sanga with the hand in his face. No good. Inigo throws it up. That will miss as well. And that marks the end of quarter number 1 here between Caloocan and Pasig.
High octane, high energy action from both the teams. You got Ryan Costello with 3 personal fouls and good defensive stop. But how about the fast break here of Caloocan in full display in the first quarter after scoring only 13 in the 2 games? They have 4 points already in fast break points in the first quarter.
Yeah, Coach, that's why it's interesting that you mentioned high octane and high energy, that despite the fouls, we have seen the pace still being up by both teams. These are teams who really want to get in on the break and get easy baskets. That's from their defense that will fuel their offense. And so far, Caloocan has been doing a good job, but Pasig has found a way to get this game back close. They're down by just 1 after the end of the first, 17-16.
Performance namin last game medyo sobrang baba itong intensity na binigay ng team. Siguro yung kumpiyansa na nakuha na namin yung first game, so dapat hindi ganun yung magiging attitude ng mga players. So binago namin itong the whole week, so nag-prepare kami ng 100% or double pa.
All right, welcome back to our continuing coverage of Game 3 between the Caloocan Batang Kangkaloo and the Pasig City MCW Sports. You just heard Assistant Coach Ronnie Dohilio of the Batang Kangkaloo, wherein he stated that nakulangan talaga sila sa intensity ng Caloocan in Game 2.
Well, really, tama yun because yung depensa nila medyo, I guess, lesser aggressive compared to the previous quarters that they played, lalo na dun sa fourth quarter of game number 2. And I feel that played a vital role in that run by Rob Manalang. Rob's been really very creative in how he makes those points, but I guess there could have been a little bit more of resistance offered by the guards, especially of the Caloocan team.
And also, I'd like to add that third quarter run by Kenny Rocacurva, wherein he finished with 12 points in that quarter alone. That really helped Pasig make that game competitive and put that momentum inside of them coming into the fourth frame.
Yeah, actually, ang question nga nun, who was going to step up in the fourth quarter, because in game number 1, actually, itong si Manalang was missing in that game. But in game 2, boy, did he prove everyone wrong where he made those 10 points in the fourth quarter, speaking of Robbie.
Here he is with a basketball. Cervantes switches on him. Laude tries to double. There's another turnover for Pasig. Bonsubre is on the run. Bonsubre could not finish.
Now you got to make them pay back. You got to push it the other way.
Alcavenia challenges the defense of Rael Cervantes, and he will get the basket plus the foul. A chance for one more point at the line para kay Alcavenia.
Well, if you're Coach Boyet, you'd love that action because any help that you can get coming out of the bench would be a huge one para dito sa Pasig team.
Look at that. There was that finish by Alcavenia. Gutsy move to the hole. It looks like he was hit hard by Rael Cervantes as he went up for that basket. He's still on the floor until now.
We'll talk about, all the supporters in this game number 3 for both these teams. One of the guys also watching at home, Joey Veloso, as well as Kiko Guhiting, was watching this game, this rubber match. Both these guys would want to find out sino ba mag-a-advance na last team dito sa North Division ng ating season ng Mpbl.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure everybody from the Pampanga Giant Lanterns team is also eagerly watching this matchup between Pasig and Caloocan.
And I think if you're Pampanga, both these teams, Caloocan and Pasig, actually offer a different attack on their strategies, offense and defense. So whoever comes out would really a little bit of a tweak, I guess, on how the game would be played and defended para dito sa Giant Lanterns.
And that's just a testament to how these playoffs have been very intense and competitive.
Right.
You're not sure what game plan you should use. Iba't ibang approach per team, because that's how strong all the teams have really strengthened their lineups this season. And looks like the foul against Real Cervantes has been upgraded into an unsportsmanlike foul, so it's gonna be a bonus free throw for Alcabenia plus ball possession para sa Pasig.
You see that drive right there really hit on the face.
There you go. Excessive contact was the justification for the unsportsmanlike foul against Real Cervantes.
But you can make a case for Real kasi hindi naman siya ganun mataas lumundag. And so maybe that wasn't the intent. It just so happened that, masyado mataas yung lundag.
Alcabenia is one of the young guns of the league. And Coach Boyd Fernandez has been doing a good job of carving out some quality minutes para sa player na to. You see him on your screens. As we mentioned a lot this season, the star of this system is Coach Boyd Fernandez and his system. Without the big names, that has really remained supreme for Pasig, and that's a big reason why they are in the playoffs and why they are on the brink of advancing to our North semifinals against Pampanga. But they will have to take care of business against Caloocan today. Roca Curva was blocked. He recovers the basketball. 4 on the shot clock. Jumper from Lorenzo is short.
Ibang klase rin talaga ang guard. Ito si Irvin Palencia. I mean, he was running around defending, but when that shot goes up, he's very mindful. I got to get that rebound too and swing that ball over to our side.
I'm sorry, that was Corpus who took that shot earlier from Pasig, but Subre knocking down the 18-footer para sa Caloocan.
Well, we talked about a lot of flow right now. It seems a little bit of advantage from a flow offensively itong Caloocan, but you gotta wait for that burst by Pasig later on.
Chavenya off to Kenny Roca Curva. 16 points in game 2. Peralta, can he get another 3? Shot is off, but there's going to be another foul. This is going to be against Real Cervantes. This will be his 3rd.
Oh, yeah. I mean, star player after star player for both teams. The first quarter was Ryan Costello. Now it's Real Cervantes. Look at that one. Little close out, hit on the arm. I mean, that shot's been released, so I don't feel there's a need for him to do that.
There was also contact downstairs. Cervantes also hit the leg of Peralta as he fell on the floor.
Look at the depth of the bigs lineup of Caloocan. You take out Real Cervantes, you're getting in a Matias. Sure, might be a better offensive player itong si Cervantes, but you're getting more rebounds with Matias right there.
Matias is an all-around guy throughout his career. You ask him what to do, he will deliver para sa'yo. Meanwhile, Peralta at the line, knocking down his first free throw.
And to your point, Javi, yun talaga yung naging contribution. Itong si Ronnie Matias, he played very silently in that 3rd quarter run of Caloocan.
Meanwhile, let's take this opportunity to turn you over to Ms. Mika Abisames.
Hindi na daw 5 hours ang naging practices ng Batang Kangkalu. 2 hours na lang daw. But yung 2 hours daw na yon, lahat seryoso, walang biruan. And despite their experiences, they went back to being students who had to listen to a detailed lecture by Coach Robert Sison. Like you mentioned earlier also, there were numerous deadlocks, even as we speak. So I asked, how do you get far? And they said, we got to minimize our fouls. They gave up a lot in the first quarter and converted to Rob Manalang's points, which were majority of Pasig's points in the first quarter. They also have to limit the second chance possessions of Pasig. At saka parang lahat daw kasi kaya nalang gawin ni Rob Manalang, so kailangan daw talaga mag-ingat doon. Have you, Coach Mike?
Thank you so much, Mika. But so far, wala pang team talaga nakakalayo after Caloocan was able to surge ahead early in the first quarter. Pasig was able to get back, and so far we've been going back and forth once again. And Prince Casin on the block. He's called for a travel.
Good call by the ref. Well, about that report of Mika, tama naman yun. You know, you have to be mindful of kung anong gagawin ni Robbie Manalang. He started out that game really strong. First quarter was 7 points and ended that even stronger with 10 points to kick off that win para dito sa Pasig.
And also, Coach, I'd also like to comment, it's just a testament as well to the influence of Coach Robert Season on this team. Imagine you have a team of tried and tested veterans, and these are not just regular veterans. These are big names. Gabby Espinas, Dale Cervantes, Paul Sanga, these guys have gone through a lot in their career and have proven so much already. And for a coach to come in and really put in the system that he wants and for his players to listen, that's a big thing.
Well, it's very important that you get your players to buy in, and you know, your confidence really comes from your competence, and they see that very competent ang coach nila si Robbie Season, and so they believe in him and say they do what he tells them to do.
Now, Coach Robert Season coming back from a long coaching hiatus. His last stint was still in 2013 when he did battle Coach Boyd Fernandez in the PBA D-League Finals when Coach Boyd was still coaching the NLEX Road Warriors. Nasa D-League pa yung NLEX. Can you imagine mo ganun katagal na yun?
At saka pinag-usapan mo si Coach Robbie, you also have to talk about Coach Ronnie Dorillo. I mean, he set this tone para dito sa Caloocan team leading into this playoffs run. And parang yin-yang tong dalawan.
Exactly.
Very
Ice and fire,
Robbie,
no?
right? It's fiery and you know, a lot of calmness on Coach Ronnie.
Coach Ronnie might have been the chillest head coach that we've had here in the Mpbl. Never seen him scream from the sidelines. Actually, nung last game nga nila, nung game 1 rather, he was already holding a coffee cup, something I didn't see from him when he was still the head coach.
Ibang klase yung papakalma rin eh. Pero kung coolness ang pag-uusapan, nandun sila Coach Rich Alvarez.
Ayun talaga.
And B. Valencia.
22-19, free throws para dito kay Jeff Corpus. It's now 23-19. This is the biggest lead so far of Pasig in this game, which prompts Coach Robert Season to burn one of his timeouts. 6 minutes and 46 remaining here in the first half. Let's take a look at our player matchup for tonight. We have pitted in this matchup Robbie Manalang and Irvin Valencia. These are their numbers from game 2. Obviously, Manalang was the player of the game in that matchup. 23 points, 8 out of 15 shooting, while Valencia only had 6 points. But we know Valencia, his numbers really extend more out of the box score.
Yeah, I guess nagmamatter din dun yung playing time and yung exposure nila sa court. That's 37 minutes versus that of only 15 for Valencia. Why so? Because your number one scoring threat para sa Pasig is Rob Manalang. You got to keep him in the game. Samantalang on the other side, Valencia's got to share that opportunity with Joko Toyontong, who's also been very steady at the point guard chores.
Yeah, Chinigo as well.
Yeah, Chinigo as well. That's right. One of the guys that I really want to see explode right now for Caloocan is Jeremy Cabanag right there.
Cabanag has really struggled a lot this series, especially with foul trouble. In game 2, he had 4 fouls already in the third quarter. That has really limited his offensive production because of his time on the court.
Right. Cabanag in that game number 1 was actually had 12 points. 3 in the first quarter, 9 in the third, and just scored us after that in the fourth quarter.
Tyron Chan on the pick and pop. That is specialty of the house para kay Tyron Chan.
Now that's gonna make the Caloocan defense think a little bit. If you're gonna involve Tyron Chan in those two-man game, that guy loves to slip, and he's got that touch to make that shot from the outside.
Caloocan has been scoreless the past few possessions. This is now the biggest lead for Pasig at 6, 25-19. Valencia trying to bother Corpus on top. Corpus manages to get inside by Chong. What a good setup para kay Corpus.
A very good one. He saw that defense was trying to block him from behind. Just leave it for the big guy underneath, and Alvin obliges.
That's the first 2 points of the game para kay Alvin by Chong. 27-19. The lead is now 8. Cabanag off the screen. Jumper no good. There's going to be a foul. The personals have been quite fewer compared to the first quarter here in the second frame. Here was the setup, great sidestep by Corpus to get it to Alvin by Chong.
That was actually that move, that setup, that clear dive para kay Alvin. Got past the first line of defense. How about this one? Once you see Tyrone slip, I mean, sino babantayan mo doon? Kenny's gonna drive middle, and Tyrone's popping on the sideline. Who are you gonna cover? You gotta pick your poison. And if you play the percentage, I'd rather that he take the shot from the outside and hope that he misses. But since he makes, now you got to change your defense back on the next possession.
But Subre sits down in favor of Gabby Espinas, and right away, off of that inbound, Cabanag aggressively takes it inside and was fouled on the teardrop.
Well, I like that Jeremiah's actually taking his shots. He's done 3 attempts so far in succession para dito sa Caloocan, and hoping that first shot would go in and starts a rhythm for him. Kasi nagiging problema niya, minsan he's already free, he's not taking it.
After those 12 points in game 1, he only had 2 points in game 2. Tonight he already has 4, but misses on the first free throw. There you see his numbers, 1 out of 7 only in that last game. And he's been the leading scorer for Caloocan this whole season.
That's right.
That's really something big.
Alam mo, ang mas problema pa nun kay Jeremiah in that last game, his 2 points came in the fourth quarter. He didn't score a point from the first to the third quarter. If you're a scorer and a shooter and a driver like that in Jeremiah, you gotta do better and make those field goals.
0 out of 2 for Jeremiah Cabanag on that previous trip to the line. Pasig was unable to score. In fact, turns the ball over. So it's going to be Caloocan possession here as they try to trim down the 7-point advantage.
Now, when you talk about Magic Bunot, hopefully this is that one guy, Josan Nimes, for Coach Boy, and he was really sensational, giving them a huge lift in game number 1. He got 12 points, 4 points apiece in each of the second until the fourth quarter in game number 1.
He really helped a lot for Pasig, helping them get back into that game after Caloocan already established a double-digit advantage. But in game 2 only was good for 2 points. Ito si Josan Nimes. Black shirts with a steal. Cabanag changes hands in midair and finishes at the basket.
Now, Jeremiah, you got a little something going here. You got to build on that and start producing well. Got to catch a rhythm if you're number 7 for Caloocan.
6 points now in the game. The lead is at that same number para dito sa Pasig after that steal and the finish from Caloocan's top point man this season, Jeremiah Cabanag. Beautiful finish at the basket.
Ang nagpaganda doon is yung yung depensa ng Caloocan from the back. They had Rocacorba bring the ball down and defended him so much that he actually needed to pass.
4 minutes and 48 remaining here in the first half. 27-21 is the score. We're back inside the Caloocan Sports Complex. You're looking at the Malapitan family present inside our venues. And our Mpbl leadership on your screens, led by Captain Mpbl, Commissioner Kenneth Duremtes. You have Operations Head Emerson Oreta. Of course, our boss, Del Tupas, also here to witness Game 3. Security Chief Rudy Distrito also present here tonight. Good, sizable crowd that we have here inside our venue for Game 3 here between Pasig and Caloocan. The winner here will earn the right to face the Pampanga Giant Lanterns in our North Division semifinals that will happen next week at the Brenzigao Convention Center.
Well, we talked about Jeremy catching a rhythm. Now it's Kenny's turn. He's actually 0 out of 2 from the field. His 2 points all came in from the free throws. You got to see that basket fall in from the field if you're Kenny.
Nemes finds himself wide open from top of the circle. That's off to the right, and Nigo secures the board. Manalang, first appearance in this game for the Batang Kangaluhis, the 4th point guard off the bench here for Coach Robert's season. Cabanag receives the handoff from Barakael. Cabanag draws contact. That's going to be another whistle against Pasig. And Chavenya getting into a little something here against Gabby Espinas.
Oh, wow. But if you're Gabby Espinas, you got to stay away from these situations. I mean, this is a must-win game for you to advance to the next round. You got to keep your calm. Your team's been doing good.
Gabby Espinas telling our referees that wala naman daw siyang ginawa. Let's look at what happened. You watch the middle of your screens where Espinas is trying to box out Chavenya. Looks like there was an elbow thrown by Gabby, which Chavenya obviously took offense to.
Yeah, because it looked like Chavenya was actually holding on to that left arm of Gabby Espinas as he was trying to go for that rebound.
Let's see what will be decided here by our officials. They've been calling it very tight. A lot of fouls called here in this game. The first quarter, both teams were in the penalty early on. And here, Caloocan is now over the limit, while Pasig has just one more foul to give before they enter penalty situation.
Well, in as much as na-depensahan nila yung pagtira na yun ni Jeramer kanina coming off that handoff. I think ang ano doon is that hindi tumama kasi yung screen eh. That screen, if you're doing a handoff for Jeramer and your Mac Barakael, you need to have that screen, that defender of Jeramer hit you so that it frees up Jeramer on the other end. It's going to be big to small switch, and either way, it's going to be advantage for Jeramer.
Cabanag really working on his offense in this game. He knows the value of his numbers para sa kanilang kupunan. Imagine being the leading scorer and not even scoring. So now, with 6 points in this game, possibly going for 8 if he's given this free throws after that foul called.
And that one's pretty huge, especially if you're coming off just a 2-point game in game number 2 and you hit that only in the 4th quarter. Now, 2nd quarter, you got that much point. That bodes well para sa Caloocan.
Foul on number 8, Kenny Roca Curva, is first foul. There was a warning on Caloocan, number 27, Gabby Espinas, for unsportsmanlike behavior. Technical foul on Caloocan, number 24, Mark Manalang. Technical foul on Pasig City, number 96, Al Chavenya, both for unsportsmanlike behavior.
All right, there you have it. So the foul was going to be against Kenny Roca Curva. That was on the basket attempt by Jeramer Cabanag. And then 2 technical fouls called out here against Manalang. And I believe Alvin Baichong. So they cancel out, and there was a warning called against Gabby Espinas.
Yeah, I like that they just called a warning on Gabby, but you have to be able to stay in control. Lalo na if you're a marquee player such as Gabby Espinas.
But look at the free throw disparity so far in this game, Coach. 18 attempts at the line already compared to 10 para sa Caloocan.
Ito pala, makikita mo na. You have to be actively attacking the defense and make them commit those fouls.
27-22 is the score. Robbie Manalang surveying the floor. He gets inside. Nemes behind the back to Robbie. Fakes out his defender, Josan. dumps it inside. That pass was picked off by Manalang. Cabanag, the go-ahead pass. Espinas on the break. 8 points in this ball game for the former NCAA rookie MVP to lead everybody in this match.
And right now you can say this is actually the best fast break game of Caloocan so far. 8 points after having only 6 and 7 in Game 1 and Game 2 respectively.
And he's not only scoring the basketball, Gabby Espinas is also playing excellent defense, forcing Jason Ballesteros to let go of that basketball. Another chance here for Caloocan. They may tie or get within one.
Could be a crucial possession here para sa Caloocan. They want to come back and get that lead.
3 minutes and change remaining here in the second. Espinas leans inside. That's going to be a walk against Gabby.
Good call by the ref. That cut by Jeramel, actually, I feel threw off the rhythm of Gabby Espinas, forcing him to get in there and try to create for himself instead.
Pasig now with the basketball. Turnover story. Both teams, 24 turnovers between Pasig and Caloocan tonight.
I guess that really shows a lot of defense for both those teams too in the first half.
Peralta gets the miss of Robbie Manalang and cleans up the miss. 8 points also in the game para kay Tonton Peralta.
Yeah.
Surprise leading scorer para sa Pasig tonight.
Tama yan. And you like that Tonton is actually getting those rebounds and making those offensive shots in there.
29-24, lead back up to 5.
Oh.
Manalang gets away, but swatted from behind by Roca Curva.
Well, first off, it's going to be difficult because as you go in, you're seeing actually Jason Ballesteros waiting there on that drop coverage. You have to find shooters and cutters on the other end to be able to exploit that opportunity.
Look at Roca Curva just slapping that ball from behind. He read that perfectly. And maybe even if he didn't, Ballesteros was right in front of Manalang. Galicia was in trouble, turns it over. Roca Curva this time couldn't hit. Ballesteros second serving. Roca Curva gets it. Ballesteros no good still para sa Pasig. There's going to be a foul against Caloocan. 4 tries, no basket para sa Pasig City, and yet they get the ball back.
Well, those stats are going to pile up on rebounds, offensive rebounds, field goal attempts, but not on field goal makes.
Roca Curva, there you go, missing. Ballesteros could not hit. Roca Curva, there's another one. Ballesteros goes up, could not hit. And that was despite 4 Caloocan defenders in the vicinity against 2 Pasig players.
Well, that one's really more mental now because you feel the defense of Caloocan, and so you kind of worry where that next defender is gonna come. And so kahit na libre ka na, feeling mo somebody's gonna block you from behind. And even if you're a big guy like Jason Ballesteros and a close guy, shooter, point blank para dito kay Kenny, chances are your mind's gonna play games on you.
Ballesteros in game 1, 0 points but had 8 rebounds. Also could not score in game 2 but had 10 rebounds.
But he didn't make any field goal attempts at all in those 2 games. And so right now he's being more active offensively, getting attempts.
Especially off those offensive boards. That's really his specialty. Defense and rebounding. Ito si Jason Ballesteros. 30-24, the lead is 6. Cabanag working against the defense of Robbie Manalang. Isolated on the right side. Manalang forces Cabanag to give it up. 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Oh,
Espinas jump pass down low. Valin could not handle it. That is a 24-second shot clock violation for Caloocan.
They were able to hit the open man, but each time around, they keep passing. Somebody's got to take that shot too.
A case of overpassing para sa Batang Kankalu. Coach Boyd Fernandez will burn a timeout here. 1 minute and 35 remaining in the first half. Jason Ballesteros and Pasig City looking to advance into our North Division semifinals, but in their way, the number 4 squad in the North, the Caloocan Batang Kankalu, who are trying to defend their home court here in Game 3 of this clash of dark horses. So far, Pasig City leading by 6, 30-24 in the first half.
Just a bad foul right there by Jeremy. I mean, again, you have to defend without fouling, and you have to stay in front of Robbie Manalan, because if he gets you on his shoulder, you're gonna be left behind.
Robbie Manalang, despite moving on from his collegiate career in Adamson, still hasn't lost a step here in the Mpbl. Continues to maintain that speed that he had in college.
Yeah, and he's got that calmness to his offensive attack that allows him to just keep on playing the game kahit na anong klaseng depensa ang gets thrown at him. Very rarely do you see him, or almost never retaliates and just finds a way to score.
Kahit mabilis, hindi out of control.
No, correct.
8 points and 3 rebounds now in this match for Robbie Manalang. Espinas at the block against Jason Ballesteros. Marquee matchup here at the post. Inigo floats it up against the defense of Josan Nimes. Ball is loose and it will go the way of Pasig City.
Kita mo yung klase ng defense ang binigay nila kay Gab Espinas doon. He was already on the block. He kept on dribbling, but Manalang could not help on him because Jeremiah was the shooter right there on the side of Gab Espinas. So if he helps, just a little kick out, and Jeremiah could get that shot from the outside.
What is the difference now between what Pasig has done in the first quarter to what they are playing with right now in the second, where they were able to get this lead, Coach Mike?
Well, I think it's the start. They're catching a better rhythm now in this quarter compared to a very hesitant start in the first quarter where they couldn't find that ball go in from the field. And so kung nang nangyari yun, medyo yung confidence level tumaas na, and shooters like Peralta, Manalang, Curva, they're finally getting their rhythm in there.
And they're doing all of this without their leading scorer of the season, Ryan Costello, who already has 3 fouls in this game. A quick 2 fouls in the opening minutes. Sat down, checked back in, picked up his 3rd foul right away. Ballesteros, 1 out of 2 once again from the free throw line. This is a guy who hasn't scored the entire series. Tonight, already with 4 points. As you see, they're scoring this quarter 17-7.
And staying on that Ryan Costello situation, when we had to go down out of the game because of foul trouble, huge step up here by the bench. They're actually outscoring the bench of Caloocan 18-8.
Nimes picks up the steal. Caloocan continues to struggle in the second quarter. Luckily, Peralta misses from the outside. A chance to go for the final shot para sa Batang Kankalu.
Yeah, tama ka doon, Javi. They were lucky that shot didn't go in because that defense was late to close out on Peralta.
10 seconds on the game clock. Cabanag waves off. Casin attacks the defense, goes inside. Basket is good para kay Jeremiah Cabanag.
Mindset. That's what Coach Ronnie Dorillo mentioned earlier. You want to change the attitude of the players, and I think that really rubbed in to Jeremiah Cabanag. You wanted that clear out. He took on that challenge 1v1 and knew that he was going to have Cabanag on Manalang on his heels towards that attack.
9 points in the game to lead all scorers. A chance to break into double figures. Cabanag does so after completing the 3-point play. 2.9 seconds for Pasig City to hoist up a shot. Roca Curva, can he get it up? No, that was blocked by Irvin Palencia. Despite a lousy second quarter here for Caloocan, they finished strong here, cutting this lead to just 6 points, 33-27 after the first 20.
Well, very important how, Pasig is able to stabilize and come back. Well, really predicated on their defensive stop and the bench really coming up after Ryan went to the bench.
All right, so that was it for your first 2 quarters. Halftime analysis sa pagbabalik ng Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League.
official sports book of the Mpbl.
We are at halftime here between Pasig City and the Caloocan Batang Kankaloo. This is game 3 of their best of 3 series where Pasig find themselves up by 6, 33 to 27 after the first 20 minutes of action. Caloocan actually started this game off well, but Pasig was able to get back in the game due to that big second quarter, which got them the lead after the first half.
Yeah, we talked about finishing strong para dito sa game na to. The team that finishes strong is actually ends up the win, but it also matters kung paano mo sinimulan yung game. And if somebody does that to you, you have to be able to sustain it and get over it. 38% shooting versus 26% para dito sa Pasig and Caloocan. Again, the same number of attempts but more makes from the field para dito sa Caloocan. But look at the bench points. That's 18 versus 8. 8 of those coming from Peralta. Tonton Peralta is really given a huge lift after the exit of Ryan Costello. And fast break points, just overachieving itong Caloocan. They already have 8 fast break points in the first half alone, over marking that 7 and 6 points respectively for Game 2 and Game 1.
Yeah, that was one of the things that you mentioned at the top of our coverage, Coach, that Caloocan would need to work on if they would give themselves a good chance of winning in this game. You might be wondering why Pasig is still up despite only shooting 26% from the field compared to Caloocan's 38. It's because of those free throws by Pasig City, 17 out of 24 from the line. Leading scorers of this game, Manalang and Peralta with 8 apiece. Ballesteros, who has not scored prior to this game, already with 4 points. Chavenia with 3. Sa kabilang banag naman, Cabanag leads Caloocan after only a 2-point game in Game 2, while Espinas has 8. Bonsubre and Inigo with 4 apiece.
Importante doon yung contribution nitong si Jeramer Cabanag. I mean, he started out late in the second quarter, but maganda yung ginawa niya towards the end of the second quarter.
Now let's listen into an interview by Pasig's assistant coach Richard Rosales.
Ngayon, focus pa rin kami dun sa adjustment namin ng second game, ng Game 2. And then, ngayon, mas ano yun ng team, ng mga players, yung tapang na kailangan namin yun. Kasi unang-una, veterano yung mga kalaban, tapos puro bata yung mga players namin. So, kailangan nilang maging matapang ngayon.
All right, there you have it. So that was Pasig's assistant coach Richard Rosales, and so far in this game, they have been doing a good job after a very slow start, which featured Ryan Costello picking up 3 early fouls. They have been able to take the driver's seat after a strong second quarter. They led by as much as 9. Now, as we enter the third frame, they're up by 6, 33-27.
Well, actually, from the end of the first quarter leading up to the first 5 minutes of the second quarter, that actually was an 11-2 run in favor of Pasig. I mean, them starting that quarter really strong, kind of like stabilized them offensively, but still, itong si Rob Manalang and Kenny Rocacorva continues to struggle from the field, having only 1 out of 5 itong si Rob and 0 out of 4 from the field itong si Kenny.
Rocacorva cuts inside, gets a pass from Jason Ballesteros, and he will be fouled. So it's free throws once again for Pasig. Just like we talked about at halftime, 24 free throw attempts para dito sa Pasig City, despite only shooting 26% from the field, shooting only 7 field goals.
Yeah, and see Kenny actually has all his points coming from the free throws. He's got 2 points. He's all coming from the line. And yung dive na niya na yun could have been an opportunity to get his first field goal. I mean, that was by design by Coach Boyet, so that Kenny catches a rhythm.
Split at the line for Kenny Rocacorva. He's joined by Tyron Chan, Robbie Manalang, Jason Ballesteros, and Tonton Peralta in the starting unit of the second half para kay Coach Boyd Fernandez. Ryan Costello continues to sit on the bench with 3 personal fouls para sa Pasig City. And for Caloocan, meanwhile, Coach Robert Season has decided to go with the same starting unit to begin this game. That's Palencia, Cabanag, Baracael, Tayongtong, and Gabby Espinas. And Cabanag gets inside, kick out, free throw line jumper for Gabby Espinas is no good. Tonton Peralta gets the defensive rebound.
And Tonton's been pretty big para dito sa Pasig, especially on that 11-2 run.
You were mentioning one of the keys to the game for Pasig City, 3 Rs plus 1. Who will be that 4th guy to step up? Peralta couldn't hit from the outside. That jumper was short. Tayongtong, there are no numbers here for Caloocan. He'll take it anyway, and he draws the foul. That's going to be 2 shots at the line for Joko Tayongtong.
Doon mo makikita ang experience ni Joko Tayongtong. Big men reeling on their heels, going back, and him charging in front with a good handle on the ball. Yun talaga ang gagawin mo. You have to finish in the middle.
So far, just a point in this game para kay Joko Tayongtong, former star player of the EAC Generals in the NCAA. Has traveled around during his pro career. Fails to hit on his first free throw. Caloocan as a team is 6 out of 12 from the free throw line in this game.
And one of the die-hard fans of Caloocan, Sir Boyet Pagnamitan, is actually watching the game today, praying that Caloocan wins this game.
Let's take a look at the update on our keys to victory. Unahin muna natin dyan ang Pasig. So far, Coach, 2 out of 3.
Right. Well, the first one, yung 3R+1, is because it's only the +1 that actually is working here. Tonton Peralta coming up with the 8 points. Actually, pag tinignan mo, 28 of the 33 points really coming from that factor. But if you look at the cleanup of the glass, they did really good there. They out-rebounded Caloocan 21 versus 16. But they have to work more on their threes. They're actually 20%, 2 out of 10, at least in the first half for their team.
Meanwhile, Gabby Espinas knocking down a jumper there para sa Caloocan as they trim the gap to just 5, 34-29. Sa kabilang panig naman, tingnan natin ang update on the keys to victory for the Batang Kankalo. 2 out of 3 rin.
Well, first, yung dominance ng mga bigs. When we talk about the bigs, we're talking about Gab, Espinas, Real Cervantes, and Mac Baracael. And so far, it's only Gab Espinas that's actually scored 8 points right there, and 0 contributions from a production standpoint dito para kay Real Cervantes and Mac Baracael. If you talk about the bench points, well, really good help here. They got 4 points from Inigo and 4 points from Bonsubre, especially from that shot from the outside. And I like that they're running the break right now. I mean, for you to get 8 points in the first half alone just shows the mindset right now is to really to get that rock and throw it out there for possible fast break opportunities.
They really dictated the pace in that first quarter when they went on to establish a 7-point lead. But Pasig was able to use a 17-point second quarter to be able to get ahead. But Baracael continues to be scoreless. I spoke too soon. That's his first point of the game.
Now, when you look at the stats, you see that almost all the advantages are really on the side of Pasig. Almost every stat line there is. But the beauty of this series, it is very unpredictable. Even if you lead the stats all the way, it's how you end it that will determine the outcome of the game.
No team has been able to lead by double figures throughout this entire series. And that has continued to be the trend here in this game. This is do or die para sa parehong kupunan. Roca Curva kicks it out. Ballesteros has to take it. That rims out. Offensive rebound to Pasig once again. Shan swings it to the right. Peralta receives it out of the corner. Drives baseline. Lays it up for 2.
Boy, Peralta really is making all the right decisions right now for Pasig. Getting out in the open, relocating after that offensive rebound, and let that defense fly by and drive middle.
First guy in double figures for Pasig City. Oh, dipsy too by the man for Caloocan, Gabby Espinas. What a great cut and finish. Let's look at that once again.
Well, Jason had to help of Mac Baracael, but you have to be mindful of where that Afro guy is coming from the weak side. I mean, you can't let Gabby Espinas that free, that close underneath.
Well-timed cut on that baseline, and also give credit to the pass by Mac Baracael. A chance for another one here para kay Gabby Espinas as we go to Mika Besamis.
Not to take the light away from Gabby Espinas, but I talked to the man in charge of building this Pasig team, the ever-passionate Sir Buddy Encarnado. I asked how satisfied he was with the first half, and he said, well, hindi pa rin. Marami pa rin kaming turnovers. So I told the boys na ito na yun eh. This is your chance to prove yourselves. I also asked, was there any sort of reward you promised them if they win this? And he said, I just want them to play for pride. Pride that they will be able to bring with them forever, going against an experienced team like Caloocan. And ito I really like. He said with passion, if we win this, it's like changing of the guards. Wow, happy Coach Mike.
Well, thank you so much, Mika. Well, Sir Buddy has been around the basketball industry for so long already. And, you know, that really is a testament to how good of a team owner he is. It's usually, especially in professional basketball, there are always incentives. But, you know, for your players to understand that unahin nyo muna yung pride nyo. You know, that's really something to say for Boss Buddy and Garnado and this Pasig team.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really the intangibles that would get you somewhere. But I like also that Mika's report. Ooh!
Chokotayog scoring off that reverse passing in the interior has been very good for the Batangang Kalu here in the third quarter. The lead is down to 3.
Well, you gotta give way for that beautiful pass and a good undergoal stab right there by Joko.
Three-pointer by Tyron Chan is off to the left.
Yeah, but going back, Javi, to Mika's report earlier, you know, sanabi mo nga, si Sir Buddy Encarnado's been in the game for so long. He understands the game. As we see that beautiful drive. Again, Jason got fed into that defense and Joko making him pay. And yun nga, yung mindful of the defense na tinatawag ni Coach Buddy ni Sir Buddy na ayaw namin ng turnovers. And tama siya, they have turned 10 turnovers already in the game, and mataas yan if you're Pasig.
Speaking of turnovers for Pasig, Robbie Manalang gives it away. Caloocan with a chance to get within 1, maybe even tie the game. That's blocked by Jason Ballesteros. Cervantes trying to get a basket off the spin. He continues to remain scoreless in this match.
But look at that. Jason Ballesteros got fed into the defense again, but never stopping, always mindful. I'm the rim protection. I gotta protect that rim and shot block anyone who tries to make an attempt.
Most players would just give up and let their offensive man get to the basket, but not Jason Ballesteros. Christian Bolaño inserted for the first time here by Coach Boyd Fernandez. Manalang, Espina switches on him. Ends up with Tyron Chan, and Chan drains that jumper.
Tyron Chan is actually the most efficient shooter so far for Pasig in all of the games, including this one. I guess it's what, 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 from the field right now, and he's taking those shots deliberately.
Ballesteros, yes, is 2 out of 3. Sorry, that's Chan who's 2 out of 3 in this game. Cervantes trying to set up Espinas on that wheel. There's going to be a foul called here against Tyron Chan. A chance to break into the scoring column for Real Cervantes.
He's just that piece that allows that, I guess, that stability on the shot from the outside, the mid-range game, and even the threes. I mean, if you get him involved in a high pick and roll, dapat alam mo kung saan siya pupunta, because that roll could be the point of attack too.
And the problem is when you're guarding Real Cervantes, he's a 3-level scorer. He can shoot from the outside, can hit the mid-range jumper, and also take the ball inside to the paint. This free throw by Cervantes is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
At saka si Real Cervantes, he's a streak shooter. If you remember that game 1, that streak of shots that he made in the second half really helped them get into that lead.
He did top score for Caloocan in game 1, but he had to give player of the game honors to the man who hit the game winner, Gabby Espinas. Maestre scores here for Pasig, 42-37.
In game 2, we said that the +1 in that game could have been Mike Maestre, and it's really good to see him performing today in this very important match.
Valencia turns around, rarely grazing iron on that fadeaway jumper. Costello, first time here in the second half. It's Manalang who was able to draw the foul against Jeramer Cabanag. That's number 3 on Jeramer.
In the previous game, Miggs alluded to that he got to talk to Jeramer. He was saying, why does he keep on fouling? Well, it's because Rob Manalang just keeps on moving. And so it's really like Steph Curry. When he passes that ball, the relocate is really where the game starts defensively.
And that's why Pasig's offense has been very successful. It's that constant movement on ball or off ball. Ballesteros given a dose of his own medicine there. Kinuyog siya ng depensa ng Caloocan.
Yeah, tama yun. Kinuyog siya noon sa depensa sa loob. But you like that Jason is actually taking that shot, because you want to see that man be involved offensively and keep the defender on him, staying honest.
Manalang off the screen, fades away. Tough looking jumper.
Yeah.
Ball is loose. That's going to be a shot clock violation. 24 did not reset after that shot by Manalang. Only hit the backboard.
Pero kita mo si Rob Manalang, kahit na hurried shot na yon, he missed it. Stay steady. No reaction. He looks at the next play.
Kalmado pa rin.
Oo.
Cervantes One-on-one with Mike Maestre. Leaves it for Espinas. That's a forced shot, but apparently there was contact against Maestre.
Somehow, it appears to me that the ploy of Caloocan is to get that ball in the middle, have Jason Ballesteros commit, and feed to the guy that's least defended, that's closest. And, you know, I think 3-4 times we've seen this in the third quarter. And so far, it's really bode well para dito sa Caloocan with Jason only getting one block.
They're really trying to take him out of the picture. As you see there, Congressman Franz Pumaren also in the house here at the Caloocan Sports Complex. Of course, joining former Mayor Along Malapitan, Congressman Oka Malapitan, and the rest of the Caloocan VIPs. What a joy it is to see one of Philippine basketball legends, Coach Franz Pumaren, watching the Mpbl games here.
And you don't want to get against this team, especially on that full court press.
He's the reason why Coach Cholo Villanueva has his team play like that.
Right, exactly.
Of course, Coach Cholo played under Franz Pumaren during their time with the LaSalle Green Archers in the UAAP.
Yep, and Coach Franz has really had that huge confidence in the coaching ability of Coach Cholo, and which allowed him to spread his wings. And right now, he's led Batangas into the semifinals for the South.
And I also have to mention this. One guy who I am sure he is also watching this game, one of the reasons why he's watching this game is because of his former player, former Adamson Falcon, Robbie Manalo.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, after his stint with LaSalle, during his return to the UAAP, Coach Franz Pumaren did have his time with the Adamson Soaring Falcons. We'd like to give a shout out to Rizaldi Supnit and family of Valenzuela. Thank you for watching. Game 3 of the clash of dark horses, Caloocan and Pasig. This game has continued to remain close. Caloocan down by just 2 points, 42-40. 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
Boy, when you mentioned those names in Coach Franz, Coach Cholo, and Robbie Manala.
Oh! That is the first basket of the game for Ryan Costello. Three-pointer near the center, and it looks like there's going to be an unsportsmanlike foul for review here.
Well, two things. He made a shot that's good, but he still can't catch a rhythm here. Look at this three here by Ryan on that fake, on that flyby. Ooh.
There was a three, but
yeah.
All right, so there was actually taunting by Costello. It was not an unsportsmanlike foul. No contact was made, but it was really just that action that he made after making the basket.
Yeah. Actually, early on, about 4 to 5 possessions back, when Ryan came in, they were actually jawing at each other already. And you know that, you know, Ervin Palesha is trying to get on the mind of Ryan Costello. He hasn't scored or made any attempt in the first half. And, you know, getting in there and making him think.
And because of that technical, that's already 4 fouls on Ryan Costello.
Oh, man.
Wait, is this correct? They're saying that Costello already had an unsportsmanlike foul earlier, but I don't think that was the case.
Yeah, I don't recall of an unsportsmanlike on Ryan earlier. Not sure, though. I think the officials are checking.
That doesn't seem to be right.
Right. Exactly. They got to check on that.
Oh, okay, yes. He did have an unsportsmanlike foul. That when he took down
oh yeah,
it was Joko
Tayongtong, right.
Chavenya was the guy who actually got in contact, but after Costello got in.
Right. We stand corrected right there. You know, that action was too early in the game. We failed to recall it. And then Joko going down, that's right. Oh, man.
So that is going to be it for Ryan Costello. He is ejected out of this game. This is a big development para sa Pasig City.
Exactly. But, you know, if there's any consolation, you have Tonton Peralta actually stepping up. in the absence of Ryan Costello. But now it matters how Kenny Rocacurva is going to step up in this quarter. He stepped up huge with those 12 points in the third quarter. Now he's got to do it tonight in game number 3.
There's a walk of shame to the locker room para kay Ryan Costello. He goes out with just 3 points to his name. Imagine just hitting his first basket of the game after being saddled with foul trouble all game long, and just one act of taunting brings him out of this game. What a big development para dito sa Pasig City. They still hold the lead 45-41, under 3 minutes to play here in the third quarter. But again, with the game so tight, you're gonna want to have everybody on deck, and they're gonna have to do without their leading scorer for the remainder. At ang Caloocan with a chance to bring this down to a one-possession ball game. Cervantes could not hit. Corpus grabs the rebound. Manalang forward to Maestre. Valencia right in his grill. Screen by Chavenya, did not hit Corpus from the outside. That's off to the right.
Well, right there, the defense of Caloocan got what they wanted. They wanted somebody else to take the shot from the outside. So they got Corpus shooting it right there.
Tayong Tong sits Corpus down on that shot fake. And he was able to find Ronnie Matias on that cut that was very well timed. So now he will have a chance to score at the line. Ito si Ronnie Matias.
I like this combo of Irvin Palencia and Joko Tayontong in the front court para dito sa Caloocan. I mean, a fiery guard in Irvin Palencia and a very steady, mature guard in Joko Tayontong.
10.6 rebounds in game 2 para kay Matias. That's his first point of this game. Two for 2 at the line para kay Ronnie Matias. Oh, now it's just a 2-point ball game, 45-43.
Now we remember that the start of the game, Pasig was struggling. They got over that hump, played steady ball. Now this is another test of their resilience here.
There's a foul called here against Palencia.
Now Irvin's got to watch it. I mean, he has to stay in the game if they want to advance and get this win in advance. It's just too valuable para dito sa Caloocan team.
Well, he doesn't put in a lot of numbers, but his defense and his energy very vital para kay Coach Robert Season and Caloocan. There's going to be another foul against Matias. That's the 14th foul of Caloocan. One more, and that was sent a Pasig player to the line for 2 shots.
Pero ang comfort level naman ni Coach Robert Season dito is that even if, you know, let's say foul trouble si Irvin, he still got Inigo to come off the bench. And that's a pretty high IQ player too.
Or arguably the depth of Caloocan in that backcourt is also very underrated.
Right. I'm with you on that. But how about Robbie Manalang staying aggressive here? He understands that he's got to get points in right now.
He doesn't have his backcourt buddy anymore for the remainder of this game. Ryan Costello ejected after picking up a technical foul earlier. He did have an unsportsmanlike foul in the first quarter after decking Joko Tayontong.
Yeah, for all you know, Javi, with Ryan going out, this could even spark some more itong Pasig team, because you lose a leader in Ryan Costello who sets up the table for you. You know, you want to win for him too.
That is sometimes the case, you know, when your star player goes out, your team rallies behind that. Sometimes it's even deadlier when you play for an added cause,
right,
more than just winning a game. Analang is at the line because Caloocan is in the penalty. Valencia swore that he did not touch Manalang and was even asking Coach Robert Season to challenge the call, but Coach Robert opted not to.
Which I think is a good decision by Coach Robert, because, you know, you're pretty close. You don't need to lose that challenge opportunity.
0 out of 2 for Robbie Manalang. He's now 5 of 8 from the line, failing to extend this 2-point lead of Pasig City. Batang Caloocan with a chance to deadlock the game at 45. Could have taken the lead with that Palencia 3, but that was badly missed. Manalang goes inside, had to adjust. Ball is tapped. Joko Tayongtong, nobody home to stop him.
And literally, there was nobody home to resist that attempt by Joko. Just that transition defense being challenged and coming in late.
We are all tied up at 45 apiece. Corpus gets that ball tapped out of bounds. The referee saying it will stay with Pasig City with 8.6 seconds on their shot clock. There you see Paul Sanga, that go-ahead pass to Joko Tayongtong. Once again, another basket on the fast break para sa Caloocan.
Puts a lot of pressure defensively para sa Pasig on the open floor.
Corpus receives the inbound from Roca Curva. Maestre, corner pocket 3. A little bit too strong. And there's going to be a foul. This is going to be against Caloocan.
Yeah.
Just when I was about to say that this is the quarter that has had the least number of fouls. We've had 3 fouls in the last 2 minutes.
Right.
Ballesteros will be the guy at the line for Pasig City. Go ahead, coach.
But again, it goes back to the point that you love that Jason Ballesteros stays active. Either siya yung re-rebound or siya yung roll at titira siya, so that on a 2-man game, it's not just Tyrone Chan as your option on a pick and roll or pick and pop. You can hit Jason Ballesteros too. But I guess what's important is got to make those shots.
Numbers tonight para kay Jason Ballesteros: 6 points, 13 rebounds, but 2 out of 5 from the free throw line for the former Gilas Pilipinas member. There you go. That's a split para kay Ballesteros. 62.9% from the free throw line this season. Ito si Jason Ballesteros. But at least he helps Pasig get back the lead.
Yeah, and free throws have been a challenge really for Pasig. In game number 1, they were 16 of 32. In game number 2, they were 14 of 24. A total of almost 26 points missed opportunity right there on the free throw. Right now, they're somehow on that same track.
That's a question mark for a team that has been a very efficient field goal shooting squad. Sanga. Oh, challenged by Roca Curva. There's going to be a foul on the 3-point shot.
And boy, Coach Boyet really could not believe all these close-out fouls being called against his team. He keeps on shaking his head. Let's see this one right here. That lift. Oh, wow.
I myself am not quite too sure about that.
Not too sure, right. He was actually moving to the side of Paul Sanga, trying to avoid that contact.
There was a little bit of contact downstairs. But with the way our referees have actually been calling in this game, you would understand that they would also call that.
Well, at least there's a little bit of consistency. You know.
Unfortunately, Paul Sanga could not make the second free throw. We're all tied at 46. Third free throw coming up here para kay Paul Sanga. 2 points, 3 rebounds so far tonight.
And in the last game when we were covering this, me and Migs, I told Migs, I wouldn't mind if this goes to 5 games. A really close matchup between these two.
Well, unfortunately, Coach, this is the last game of this series. Whatever happens. But it has been an absolute chess match between 2 great coaches, Coach Boyd Fernandez and Coach Robert Season. And one of the motivations of Coach Robert personally is he has never won a series against Coach Boyd Fernandez in his career.
That could be added fire too, right in there. But how about the other playoff games in the Mpbl this season too, man? A lot of classics right there.
That's right. Tomorrow we'll be witnessing 2 Game 3s between Zamboanga and Quezon. And of course, Bacoor and Iloilo. That's going to be happening in the Strike Gym. Abangan nyo yan mga kaliga. Definitely going to be a pair of exciting matchups once again.
I mean, that Strike Gym is going to be filled to the brim.
I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure.
And so if you're going around the area tomorrow, please come in early because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of traffic going in that area.
A chance for Caloocan to write the final sentence of the 3rd chapter of this game. Cervantes attacks baseline. Matias attacks middle. Kisses it off the glass, no good. Cabanag looks at the clock. Top jumper from the baseline. That will not go. And that marks the end of the 3rd period here between the Caloocan Batang Kakalo and Pasig City MCW Sports. We are back to square one, Coach Mike, 47-all.
And boy, a huge sigh of relief for Coach Boyet and Coach Robert season right here. I mean, the players really not wanting to give up, staying the course, getting to those schemes and those strategies and tactics. And man, Ryan Costello going out, Tyrone Chan making those shots from the outside. A lot of huge ones in this game too.
After Pasig ended the first half up by 6, 33 to 27, Caloocan goes on to score 20 here in this just concluded 3rd quarter to knock things back up at 47 apiece as we enter the 4th and final frame. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back for your penultimate quarter. Presenting our Suzuki Muscular and Sporty fan of the game, just like the Avenus. Do more and achieve more with a muscular and sporty scooter from Suzuki, the Avenus. Oras na para magmotor. Back here inside the Caloocan Sports Complex. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 3 of the clash of Dark Horses. Pasig in Caloocan. Avi Palayan, joined by Coach Mike Perez and Ms. Mika Abisamis. The winner of this matchup will earn the right to face the #1 seed of the North, the Pampanga Giant Lanterns, next week. Cervantes gets his own miss. Caloocan still gains possession as we look at the quarter scoring, Coach Mike.
Yeah, look at this one. 14 points only in that quarter para dito sa Pasig, allowing 20 points para sa Caloocan and make that comeback and tie this game. But I think what's more bothering if you're Coach Boyet right now is this is actually the lowest scoring percentage from a field goals standpoint. You're shooting 26% so far through 3 quarters in game number 3. In game 1, you had 38%, 36% in game number 2. Pretty decent, but you know, that 28% really low. Lalo na you don't have Kenny Rocacorva and Rob Manalang being in the same way that they've been in games 1 and 2.
Rocacorva has struggled in this game. Manalang has been able to put points up on the board, but majority of those points have come from the free throw line.
Right.
And even actually in general for Pasig, that's where they've been able to get a lot of their production in this game. They've had that make up for their very low field goal percentage.
Alam mo, if you're a coach at nakita mo ganito kadikito, ang sarap sigurong manood sa film room nila when they were preparing for this game. Ano? I mean, both coaches.
I'm sure they paid a lot of attention to the most minute of details. Itong parehong koponan when they were preparing for this match. As Cervantes scores inside to tie us up at 49. There's going to be a foul called here against Achi Inigo. That's already the 2nd team foul of Caloocan. We're not even 2 minutes into this 4th quarter.
Right. At if you look at the point of attack nitong Caloocan, they're really attacking the defense of Cannon right now. I mean, how long will you keep Cannon on Ryle Cervantes?
This is the first time he's been checked into this game for Pasig. Talking about Lander Cannon. Corpus has not been able to hit from the outside. He's 0 out of 2 from three-point country in this game.
And Landers understands that it's not an easy cover to be going up against Cervantes, especially down on that low block. That guy's got really good footstep. He's very stable on those footwork, even on the paint, right through traffic, can finish. And so how do you stop that guy? You gotta have help coming from the other guys.
Cannon is joined by Tonton Peralta, that guy with a rock, Mike Maestre, who scores of that pretty reverse to elude the defense. Jeff Corpus is also part of the 5 on the floor to begin this fourth quarter para kay Coach Boyd Fernandez. Joko Tayongtong did not wait for the defense to set up. He took it inside and drew a foul. He's working with Paul Sangarel, Cervantes, Jennifer Cabanag in Mac Barakael to begin this fourth quarter for Caloocan. You just saw Mike Maestre scoring on the reverse. He has 5 points in this game to give the lead back to Pasig, 51-49.
I like how the coaching staff of Caloocan is actually making their scheme here in the fourth quarter very simple. Attack the guys that came off the bench para dito sa Pasig. Make them work defensively. Get team in the foul trouble, and hopefully sisingilin sila sa dulo when it comes to penalty.
Well, unfortunately, Tayongtong could not hit his free throws.
Yeah, and he's 1 out of 6 from the free throws with 5 points.
Peralta, despite the defense, back irons the 3. Look at Corpus.
Oh yeah.
Sky for that rebound against Joko Tayongtong. Another opportunity here for Pasig City. Manalang snakes his way past the defense over Cervantes. That's short. Tayongtong, dangerous pass. Almost a steal by Robbie Manalang. Good thing Caloocan will keep possession here.
Well, a couple of very veteran moves for those two players. Rob Manalang got out of that two-man game, saw that drop coverage against Cervantes, tried to do a snake dribble. Cervantes closes out. He missed, and so Cervantes runs away and gets to the open floor.
Tayongtong with still lots of time remaining on their shot clock. Turns the corner, behind the back, rises up and is fouled. He will return to the line for 2 shots.
Well, first off, how many guards do you see doing a behind the back with a defender coming on the left side, right? And so, makita mo yung kumpiyansa talaga ni Joko.
That's usually very difficult when you're already trying to go into a motion for a shot inside the paint.
Yeah, you're trying to catch a rhythm, diba?
You usually already make a move to gather. Jok Tayongtong, one of great guards coming out of the EAC program. You're seeing Boss Buddy Encarnado. I'm sure still in a lot of anxiety as he watches this game. His team only holding a solitary point lead, 51-50.
They're pointing to the, I guess Coach Boyd is kind of like pointing to the lip, a blooded lip, I think, of, is that Kenny? Mike Maestre.
Mike Maestre.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It's a mandatory foul for Mike Maestre.
He'll have to check out of this game to have that taken care of. That's going to be a mandatory substitution. Tyrone Chan will come back in para sa Pasig City.
Well, this game's literally blood, sweat, and tears right now. I mean, you get Ryan off the floor, a lot of tears flowing there. That blood too. How about this move you were talking about earlier? Behind the back, right through traffic for Joko Tayongtong.
Hinatamaan ng siko.
Yeah.
Si Maestre. And there seems to be some clarification here with our technical committee. Tayongtong will now be awarded his second free throw. Finally gets one after missing his last few attempts. That's only his second conversion from the line. That's his third. And he ties this game at 51 all.
For Lander Cannon.
Ties tsaka lead changes. Ties tsaka lead changes. Oh, you mentioned this has been the closest series perhaps in the entire playoff so far. 27 lead changes and 20 deadlocks before this game between Caloocan and Pasig.
I think the shot clock moved. And that's why they stopped this.
Tonight, there have been 8 ties. No, 8 lead changes and 9 deadlocks. Well, may not be as close as game 1, but so far here in the second half, it has really been nip and tuck.
Yep. And literally, nakita mo naman yung score. It's still tied at 51. I mean, you know, it doesn't get any closer than this.
Both coaches taking this opportunity to huddle up their players as we try to fix the error on the shot clock.
But mararamdaman mo yung veteranong leadership talaga nito si Coach Boyet and si Coach Robert. I mean, Coach Boyet really just lost Ryan Costello, but you know, he's making these guys come up, commit, and a next man up mentality. And these guys have actually responded.
There's nothing they can do anymore about that exit of Costello. They'll really have to make do with what they have. All right, so now Pasig will inbound from their backcourt as we continue this game. Corpus has been playing a lot of time in the absence of Ryan Costello. Chan breaks the press here for Pasig City. As you look at the foul story, 25 fouls called each for both squads so far in this game, and we still have 7 minutes remaining in this match. Pasig could not score. A chance for Caloocan to take back the lead.
Caloocan might want to involve Jeremy right now. He's so far all out of in the second half and hasn't scored yet from the field.
Barakael working against Chan at the post. Barakael, no bounce.
A patient defense right there by Tyrone Chan. Not minding the shot, just challenging it and defending without fouling.
Roca Corva trying to dribble his way past Cabana. Gives it up. Corpus will try his luck once again from 3. That's no good.
Well, that's the second time that they've allowed Corpus to take that shot from the outside. He's the lowest percentage shooter, and you know they're gonna let him let that ball fly from out there if he keeps doing that.
Espinas gets it to Jeremy Cabana. Sanga off the screen. Sanga for 3. 54 to 51. Caloocan with the advantage once again.
Sanga scored 12 points in game number 2. He woke up the crowd with those 3, and he wakes them up again in this point.
That's only the 6th point of the game for Paul Sanga. Chance of defense here at the Caloocan Sports Complex. Corpus tries to drop it off to Ballesteros. Roca Curva. No more time remaining on the shot clock.
What a defense right there.
Coach Boyd Fernandez could not believe it. He's telling Corpus that he should have passed it off right away as we look at this 3-point shot of Paul Sanga that's brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. Hand in the face, no problem, for one of the best marksmen of the Mpbl, Mr. Paul Sanga. 6 points and 6 rebounds. The score is 54 to 51 as we head into this timeout.
Go, Chris. Perfect this one, man. Perfect this one. We're a good team. Don't think we give up. Take the shot if you're open. Don't kick out the ball. You surrender. Now we're going, Chris. You look for correct.
Look at the numbers from Game 1 and Game 2 galing dito kay Jeremy Cabanag, Caloocan's leading scorer this season. He had 12 in Game 1, but only 2 points in Game 2.
Yeah, and very clearly, the mentality in game number 3 is, to play to your strength. And you're a scorer, you're supposed to do that. Look at that, 4 out of 9 from the field, 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Just really trying to get contributions in, and more importantly, those 9 field goals attempts, really trying to get himself in the rhythm.
As you mentioned, Coach, he has not yet scored here in the second half, although with that 10 points. So looking for Jennifer Cabanag to try and pick things up here in the fourth quarter. More on Jennifer Cabanag from Ms. Mika Besamis.
You guys have been talking about Jeremy Cabanag, so I asked him about why he thinks he was not able to show much this series, and he said, bukod sa foul trouble nga, iba din daw talaga yung kaba niya around Coach Boyet Fernandez. Dahil sure daw siya, very much scouted siya as he played for him in San Beda. Kilalang kilala daw talaga nila ang isa't isa. I can just imagine how this could distract him. Have you, Coach Mike?
Tama ka dyan, Mika. Thank you for reminding us about that bit of information. I almost forgot that. Tayong Tong crosses up Roca Curva, but Kenny blocks the shot of Joko.
Boy, what a good defense right there. Defense turning into offense right now. You got to make a conversions here.
Oh! 8-second violation. What a way to bounce back after a missed attempt at the basket. Caloocan forcing that violation against Pasig City, and Robbie Manalang at that.
Right, and more specifically, Jeremy Cabanag forced that turnover.
That has always been the calling card of Jeremy Cabanag. He has always been a great defender and a known shooter from the outside. But this year, it has been very different because his scoring has been more highlighted.
Yeah.
He's not just a guy who knocks down threes and plays defense, but he's an overall scorer. In fact, the leading point producer para sa Caloocan this year.
And that contribution also is very important to the outcome of this game. And kung titingnan mo pa rin yung depensa nitong Pasig is talagang inaabangan nila yung mga tira sa labas kaya naka-close out eh.
Cabanag on to Mac Baracael. Baracael spins. Cross contact, kisses it off the glass. 56 to 51.
Now if you're Pasig, you got to stay the course. Man, what a turn of events right there. Look at that. A shot fake on the closing out. Tyrone Chan. Dribble middle, spin the other way. Hanging against that defense by Roca Curva. Beautiful going glass.
We'll see that again. Baracael has not been able to score a lot in this game. In fact, that is his first field goal of this match, helping Caloocan add more cushion to this lead, 56 to 51.
Look more. Kung kaya pala, pass. Hand off, cross screen. Take the shot. If not, dribble lang to pull up. Points kita tayo. Make the defense. Come on, let's go.
Mac Baracael only with 5 points in this game. Sorry, 3 points para sa kanya, but he has been able to extend this Caloocan lead to 5, 56 to 51. Although we still have a lot of time remaining in this game, the momentum riding on the side of the Batang Kankalu.
Yeah, and aside from those 3 points, it's really the intangibles and the stability underneath that Mac Baracael offers. I mean, the game 1 was really his best game with 9 points, and he's trying just to do anything to get this win for Caloocan.
Meanwhile, right after the timeout, a quick attack inside by Kenny Roca Curva. We've been talking about his lack of production in this game, Coach Mike.
Yeah, I was going to allude to the fact earlier, and this is good timing right here by Kenny Roca Curva. I was going to say we've rarely seen a dribble drive attack by either Rob Manalang or Kenny Roca Curva successfully end in a field goal. That's one of those few ones that we've seen, and you gotta credit the defense of Caloocan anticipating those actions inside the restricted area.
3-point play completed by Kenny Rocacurva. He now has 7 points in this game. Tayong Tong goes baseline. Tayong Tong, top shot. That goes in.
Grabe ang talino ng Joko Tayong Tong. He didn't have that angle on that post-up. Used him as a screen instead.
Clean swipe by Tayong Tong on the other side against Rocacurva. Choco steps back. Attacks Tyron Chan. Hangs in the air. Tayong Tong could not hit. Manalang double teamed at the backcourt. Pasig barely gets it across.
Yeah, they've been really pressuring that ball from the back. Oh, Gabi Espinas closing out. Chan here.
Too strong from the outside. Ballesteros able to get that stick back.
It's those little things that's actually working for Jason Ballesteros right now. Boxing out the next guy that's nearest the rebound, get those offensive boards and put them back in for a basket.
9 points and 14 rebounds in this game para kay Jason Ballesteros. Cabanag.
What a pass.
Kick out. That's Barakael. Could not hit from 3-point country. Tayong Tong now will take his time. Shot clock reached 7. The drive inside. Barakael hesitated on the 3. Nevertheless, still able to hit.
Patience is a virtue. You miss a shot, you take it. Figure out what the defense does and try to attack. Have that confidence to let it go from the outside. That's exactly what Mac showed us.
The lead back up to 5. Another 3-pointer missed by Tyron Chan.
Wow.
2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
Boy, the Caloocan fans really up on their feet right now, and I'm sure one of those supporters din, Edmond Aguas, watching from home. Ganda nitong laban na to.
Cabanag loses Manalang. Tries to drop it off to Espinas. That ball is tapped out of bounds. It will remain with Caloocan.
And that ploy stays. When you attack middle, be mindful of where the help is going to come from. How about Mac? Looking for Jeramer, but says, nah, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to make it.
That 3-point shot was brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. Coach Robert Season will burn one of his timeouts with 2.9 seconds on their shot clock. 2 minutes and 14 remaining in this game.
Jeramer gaganon. Okay? Now, another speed for Jeramer. Paul. Libre ka dyan. Now, Gab. Right, sabi na speed. Split. Yan. Pagpilasa ko, tira nyo na para dula tayo.
All right, you just heard Coach Robert Season in that huddle of the Caloocan Batang Kankalua as we look at Commissioner Kenneth Duremtes, Operations Chief Emerson Oreta, Security Chief Rudy Distrito, of course, joined by our boss media head, Sedel Tupas, Congressman Franz Pomaren, among our VIPs in attendance here at the Caloocan Sports Complex. This is Game 3 of the Clash of Dark Horses. Avi Palanya joined by Coach Mike Perez and Ms. Mika Abisamis. The winner of this match will earn the right to face the Pampanga Giant Lanterns next week in our North Division semifinals.
And I'm sure Coach Delta's watching this game already. And, you know, they've got team preferences as well, I think. And so it matters who wins in this one.
This is far from over. Sanga off the baseline, inbound. Big basket for Paul Sanga. That's a 3-pointer from the right corner.
Let me tell you, they followed the instructions to a T by Coach Robert. They wanted a wing post split, exactly what they did.
And we now enter the final 2 minutes. Peralta missing from three-point country, could not get it back. It's suddenly everybody here in this venue feeling very good about this game.
Look at that little post-split action on the wing involving Gab Espinas and Jeremy Cabana. Both of them could actually be options in that baseline out of bounds. Who comes out in the corner? Paul Sanga, one of your best three-point shooter for Caloocan.
Paul Sanga saying night-night. He can only hope that they will be able to put Pasig out of contention dito sa ating 2023 postseason. There's a review of that last out-of-bounds play because we are now under 2 minutes. Every out-of-bounds play has the right to be reviewed to check which team would clearly have possession. Surprisingly, Coach, both teams are not yet in the penalty.
Agree. And I too am surprised by that. Biggest lead so far is 9 points para dito sa Pasig, and Caloocan's 6 points ang biggest lead, and they've never really, bridged to the 10-point double-digit advantage. And so we see now what's going to happen.
Just like what we've talked about, no team has been able to lead by more than 9 points in this series.
Right. And this is how close it's been. And again, look, when you look at the stats right now, I think this is the very first time that we've seen that the one who's poised, I guess, to have an advantage of winning this game leads the stats. It's Caloocan right now.
And our referees continue to check from our instant replay station kung kanino mapupunta ang bola dito with 1 minute and 50 still remaining in this game. This is far from over. You cannot write off Pasig City just yet. If you just tuned in, Costello has been ejected out of this game for Pasig City after picking up an unsportsmanlike foul in a technical foul. That was back in the third quarter, just right after he hit his first basket of this game.
Yeah, and pag tinignan mo yung rotation ng mga players that have actually led on the point standpoint, as point perspective para dito sa Caloocan, the only solid guy who's produced well on all 3 games, Gab Espinas. Everyone else is a different guy altogether. Paul Sanga, Espina, Matias, Baracael, different players rising up offensively para dito kay Coach Robert Season.
Baracael scoring 5 points before Paul Sanga was able to hit 2 straight 3-point shots that helped Caloocan raise up this 8-point advantage with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining. Referee Jojo Belnas now approaching the scorer's table for the final verdict. Let's listen in. Again, this was the play in question. Oh no, this was a 3-point shot by Paul Sanga.
Yeah, I think that was it. They were contesting if that's a 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 3-point conversion of Paul Sanga earlier was only a 2-point basket.
Oh, there you go. So kaya pala matagal yung review. They were checking if Paul Sanga had his foot on the line, and Sanga did have his feet on that 3-point line. So it's just going to be a 7-point lead here for Caloocan, 63 to 56.
Oh, look at Coach Robert Season as if wanting to get inside, start defending against Pasig. But Pasig's still in a good place. You're only down, 2 to 3 possessions with that much time left. You still got a chance to come back here. But first off, you got to get this ball inbounds and make a really good shot.
He's been, I believe, the most intense head coach that we've had here at the Mpbl, Coach Robert Season. I've never seen a guy who has been more animated, more energetic, and just really very... He's just so involved in the game, jumping up and down multiple times.
Right.
Chavenya looking for a teammate. Ballesteros hands it off to Robbie Manalang. Manalang Gets past Cabanag. Tough floater in the lane. Robbie Manalag, that is a big basket for Pasig City.
It's reminiscent of one of the floaters that he hit in game number 2. Now, if you're Pasig, you got to get a stop. Got to get a stop and push it the other way as much as possible.
10 points in the game for Robbie Manalang. The score is 63 to 58. Palencia gets a screen from Espinas. Palencia had to pick up his dribble. It's going to be a foul. It's going to be against Kenny Rocacurva.
Oh, wow.
But the good thing about it for Pasig City is they are not yet in the penalty, so no free throws will be awarded. The bad thing is that's already number 5 on Kenny Rocacurva. That's the second player who has had to exit the game for Pasig City.
So now you see that one. Oh, little hook right there on Gabby.
But it wasn't it Gabi Espinas who was actually hooking Rocacurva?
That's how it looked initially.
So Coach White Fernandez, his team running on fumes here.
Yeah.
After losing their top scorer of the season in Ryan Costello, they have lost their third leading scorer of the season in Kenny Rocacurva.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge decision here. Coach Boyet using his 1 minute gap to find a replacement. And I think he's tapping in. Yeah, Josan Nimes now will come in. This could be a vital pickup para kay Coach Boyet. Whether you like it or not, Pasig's game right now is going to rest on the shoulders of Robbie Manalang and Jason Ballesteros.
Josan Nimes has checked into the game for Kenny Rocacurva. Palencia drives past Nimes. Nimes taps it from behind. It will stay with Caloocan with 5.5 seconds on the shot clock.
That's exactly the same ploy. Attack the very fresh guy that comes in the floor for Pasig.
Baracael steps into the jumper. No good. Rebound chased down from the very guy who took the shot. No need to rush here for Caloocan. Cabanag wants a clear out, but Espinas offers the screen. Espinas on the roll. Nobody inside. That is going to be a shot clock violation. The time wasn't enough for Caloocan.
Yeah, and Gab Espinas immediately apologizing to the team. He was not aware of clock. And so once he got that, ball was still in his hands when that buzzer went off on the shot clock violation.
53.1 seconds remaining. Coach Boyd Fernandez will burn one of his last timeouts here. Score is 63 to 58. Let's listen into the huddle of Pasig City.
You get Valencia, you get Roman Cabanag, you get Baracael, you get Mpbl, okay? Ito gagawin natin. Nandito yung bola sa labas. Okay? Rob, you'll be here. Kuya Bale, you're here. Okay? Ponton, sorry. Okay? Algie, ikaw maglabas na bola. Josan, you're request. Okay? Esteros. Bale. Okay? You're here, Bale. Rob, you're here, Algie. Ponton, ikaw maglabas na bola. Si Joseph. Okay? Algie, Igay. Atake, draw speed, take your shot. If na-deny siya, Bale, get the ball, stagger, dribblando for Rob, take the shot. Hey!
You just heard the huddle of Coach Boyd Fernandez in Pasig City. We're down by 5 here as you look at the game reset. 2 timeouts remaining for Caloocan and only 1 for Pasig City. Peralta will inbound. Again, no more Ryan Costello and Kenny Rocacurva in this game for Pasig City. Manalang fouled from behind by Cabanag. That's the last foul to give for Caloocan.
Yeah, they wanted to give that foul up intentionally so as to avoid Rob Manalang to get into his flow. And if you base it on that last timeout called by Coach Boyd, it seems that he wanted a cross screen and a stagger on the other end. That would be the point of attack.
But a quick substitution. Chavenya sits down in favor of ito si Jeff Corpus. Sorry, this is Jeff Lorenzo. Gets it on the baseline. Steps on the line.
Now, they wanted to run a little hammer play on the other side, freeing up Rob Manalang on that weak side corner. A violation right there.
Our referees are double checking to see if the call made was right. Caloocan already feeling the advance to the next round. Crowd here chanting "Uwian na." 47 seconds remaining and call was upheld. Caloocan will have possession. They'll inbound from their backcourt. This was where Lorenzo stepped on the baseline. Really couldn't quite see it there. Palencia gets it into their front court. Palencia goes up and makes the basket. Extending this to a 3-possession ball game.
I talk about consistent approach to how you want to attack offensively. A new guy comes in from Pasig, you got to attack that guy immediately. You got to dump off every scheme that we want. This is the attack that we want.
Lorenzo coming in, fresh off the bench, turns the ball over, defending Irvin Palencia, able to get Palencia to the basket. And now it's a 7-point ball game. Advantage, Batang Kankalu. We'll take a timeout. 38 seconds remaining in this game.
You're here, stop the airdrop. Don't go. Okay? Drop, go, girl. So Robbie will be here. Robbie curls it. Okay, Mpbl, you screen. Screen ka lang muna. Tonton, bumalik kay Tonton. Screenan mo si Tonton, Haji.
Let's talk about a player matchup that we have for tonight. Manalang and Irvin Palencia. So far, Manalang is leading that matchup, but in terms of the impact for their respective squads, obviously Palencia has been able to leave more impact here for the Batang Kankalu despite just scoring 2 points.
Well, Palencia's been more of a utility guard. He's got 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals to go in tonight's performance.
At kung iisipin mo, those 10 points, kulang pa yan para kay Robbie Manalang because of the exit of Ryan Costello and earlier Kenny Rocacurva.
And I think ang downfall dito is that Robbie's been 2 out of 11 from the field, and that's very unlike Robbie Manalang. I mean, just 2 field goals for the entire game out of 11 attempts. He normally would average, what, 14 to 15 attempts a game. And just the defense preventing that for Robbie.
Chavenya was fouled on his drive to the basket. Pasig is 22 out of 35 from the line in this game. (65 to 59), a chance to cut this down to just a 5-point lead, pero wala nang timeout dito ang Pasig.
Now they got in more ball handlers as they expected this press from the back. So we've got 3 guys who can actually handle that rock. Jeramer, Joko, as well as Irvin Palencia.
Palencia, almost a 5-second violation for Caloocan. Palencia inside, kicks it out. No need to score here for Caloocan. They burn some clock.
but definitely a need to foul para dito sa Pasig. And how about Gabi Espina showing up half court as the pressure release of that press? Mac wasn't free. He was the first pressure release. He wasn't free, and so you got to have your big guy dive as well from the backcourt.
There you go. Pasig now in the penalty, so it's going to be 2 shots para kay Jeremer Cabanag. He can seal this game with his free throws here.
And you know, Jeremer, this guy's been one of the pretty steady guys offensively para dito sa Caloocan, shooting 4 out of 9 from the field, 4 of 8 from 2 points.
Definitely a much better game than what he had in game 2. 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists tonight para kay Jeremer Cabanag.
It's the 4 assists, the 4 rebounds, and the 2 steals that actually, you know, gave him a really good contribution for this game.
67-60. Lorenzo from the left corner. That's an air ball, and looks like that's going to be it.
And I mean, losing Ryan Costello really was a huge one. A huge gap for Pasig. It took a lot away from how they wanted to attack this game.
I imagine you lost 17 points per game in Ryan Costello, and then Kenny Rocacorva comes out after actually getting on a momentum scoring-wise.
Right. He got that 3 already. That was supposed to start a really good rhythm, but Irvin Palencia played mind games with him. He bit into it, and he got caught.
A little scuffle between Alchavenia and Joko Tayongtong on the last sequence. Tayongtong will take 2 free throws here. Tayongtong has also been very steady at the point guard spot tonight. 10 points now in the game, 5 rebounds and 2 assists. But the way that he has been able to control the offense, Coach Mike.
Now we finally see Coach Robert smiling. I mean, in the previous games, kahit sub lang, nakita mo, umi-sprint eh, no? Really wanting the guy to immediately go inside. But right now, he let go a little bit of a smile of this impending win.
Kahit si Coach Robert, condition din ata eh.
Oo nga eh.
He goes up and down that sideline, jumping continuously during the game when he doesn't like to call. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Caloocan Batang Kangalu defeat Pasig City in their best-of-3 quarterfinal matchup here in the North Division. They now advance to our North Division semifinals to face the #1 seed, the Pampanga Giant Lanterns.
This was supposed to be a series of the middle teams, and nobody paid really much attention to this at the start. But the way that Game 1 and Game 2 have been played leads us to this, a Game 3 with a solid win for Caloocan.
The closest series that we've had so far in our 2023 postseason. Jeremer Cabanag is hailed as our best player of the game. A lot of great contributors in this match para sa Batang Kangalu, Coach. But why Jeremer Cabanag?
Well, because he made Rob Manalang play defensively. I mean, that tired out Rob too. He had to cover both ends of the floor. He was challenging against Jeremer, couldn't stop him, and then offensively couldn't create on his own because the defense kept dropping up and he can't make his shots from the outside.
Give credit also to Gabi Espina's 15 points, 7 rebounds. Tayongtong had 10 points and 6 rebounds plus 6 assists. And there you go, Jeremer Cabanag putting his team into the second round. Again, they will be facing the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. What a series it has been para sa kanila. You know, with the deep lineup that they've had.
Right.
Not everybody was expecting this to extend into a Game 3.
And I think Pampanga already anticipated if Pasig goes in, we're going to have to deal with their speed. And I think they have enough firepower on that. But if you're going to get Caloocan, there's a little bit more oomph, I guess, on the bigs and that block action and that paint area action as well against one of the best big guys in the league so far. It's, you know, Balti's going to have his hands full against the bigs of Caloocan.
Yeah, because arguably Caloocan is one of the teams that can match up to the front line of the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Our best player of the game is with Mika Besamis.
Jeremy, napag-usapan natin yung struggle mo no, sa series na to. Pero tignan mo ngayon, nag-best player ka pa. Paano ka ba naghanda?
Siguro nung game 2, alam talaga ni Coach Boy kung anong gagawin sa akin eh. So, ginawa ko, I made a adjustment na rin. Kasi parang, ayun nga, nung game 2, si Manalang, grabe, hindi ko na-stop. So, nung ngayong game, parang game plan ko na atakin siya ng atakin para mapagod din siya sa depensa. Tsaka mapagod din siya sa opensa. Kaya, credit talaga sa mga teammates ko kasi lahat ginawa namin, lahat nag-sacrifice para sa panalo na to. Kaya, para to sa inyo mga taga-Caloocan.
Okay, napag-usapan mo yung teammates mo, majority of the time, dikit talaga tong tatlong laro, no? Anong napag-usapan para makalayo?
Lang kami, stick lang kami sa game plan ni Coach, follow lang kami sa mga rules ni Coach. And yun lang, sekreto, depensa talagang dikdikan na wala nang bukas, yun lang.
Challenging tong series na to, pero yung susunod na kalaban, napakalakas. Anong nasa isip mo?
Well, gano'n naman talaga eh. Every level, palakas yung kalaban. So, si Coach na bahala doon.
Meron ka ba mga gustong batiin at pasalamatan, Jeremy?
Of course, binabati ko yung asawa ko, yung mga baby ko, sa bahay, kuya ko, family ko, mama ko, mga tita ko, mga pinsan ko sa Bacolod, lahat ng tsaka mga taga-Caloocan, sila congressman, mayor, boss Epay, lahat ng bosses namin. Thank you sa coaches, sa mga teammates ko. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Maraming salamat. He is so happy. Happy, Coach Mike?
Definitely. It's good that you mentioned his struggles throughout this series, Mika. And now he's been able to bounce back from those struggles to lead his team to advancing to our North Division semifinals. Our games tomorrow, another pair of do-or-die matchups. That's going to be happening at the Strike Gym in Bacoor. Zamboanga and Quezon will be the curtain raiser to the Bacoor City and Iloilo matchup at 8 o'clock p.m. That is definitely going to be a pair of exciting games that's going to happen once again at the Strike Gym in Bacoor. Some highlights from that game. Coach Caloocan started off very well, but then Pasig City was able to use a strong second quarter to gain the advantage. Somehow, things turned around in the fourth quarter, especially when Costello and Rocacurva exited the game for Pasig City.
That really has been the struggle para dito sa Pasig. I mean, that three right there by Costello could have been a swinger of that game, but it went the other way. It was to the disadvantage of Pasig, and he got shown out of this game, having two unsportsmanlike fouls. But again, complete execution para dito sa Caloocan, getting Paul Sanga free on those pin downs of those staggers. But really, it started out with guys understanding their role in attacking whoever is the weakest defender on the side of Pasig.
Aside from Paul Sanga, even Mac Baracael had a pair of great shots. That was one of them, that three-point shot. Also, that floater inside the lane. Now let's turn you over to our press con, where our winning coach Robert Season is with our player of the game, Jeremy Cabana.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mpbl post-game press conference. Congratulations, Coach Robert Season and our best player, Jeremy Cabana. Coach, 3 games tayo ng Pasig this series at lahat ng games nyo digit. Ano yung naging lamang nyo sa Pasig? Kaya kayo nanalo sa series na to, Coach?
First of all, we want to thank God for this win. I think, it all boils down to we had a bigger heart, in tonight's game. I think the boys stuck together. They trusted each other. Naniwala sila dun sa game plan namin. I told them in the before the start of the game, I told them that it will all boil down to execution. Kasi si Coach Boyet, he has prepared his team well, no? We have prepared also. But the game 3, I think we executed well down the stretch, especially on the fourth quarter. No, yun eh. And then it's really tough to beat Pasig. My hats off to Coach Boyet and the Pasig team. They really gave us a hard time. But it's a player's heart.
and the will to win. That's what really carried us. Good evening, Coach. Good evening, Coach. Grabe yung naging sigawan ng mga tao inside the complex. Pinakita talaga nila yung kanilang suporta. At first, Coach, in-anticipate nyo ba ang ganong karami yung tao ngayon? Kasi during regular season, hindi naman ganito kapuno itong Caloocan Sports Complex. And obviously, nakatulong ito sa pagkapanalo nyo. So, ano naging instruction mo, Coach, sa mga players mo para manalo at hindi mapahiya sa harapan ng maraming fans, lalo na dito sa Caloocan?
That's a very good question. Kasi I told them nung game 2 when I was reviewing the game tape, no. Nakita ko yung crowd eh. They were ready to explode and celebrate. But we failed them, no. And I told them, sabi ko sa kanila, this game 3 guys, yung crowd will be our sixth man, no. So I think that drove them. And I think that really, motivated them to play in their home court, to play and take that home court advantage. And I think we did well, and we thank the fans of Caloocan. Maraming salamat sa fans ng Caloocan. They really supported us all the way.
So, Coach, let's talk about the second half. You were held to just 10 points in the second, pero the last 20 minutes, 41-27, so it was a turnover. So what was the halftime talk all about?
Well, the halftime talk was, I told them, we cannot go to the fourth quarter with them leading, So I told them, sabi ko, before matapos yung third quarter, we have to play good defense, and then gusto ko makita ko yung score na yan, we're leading. And we executed well, we executed the game plan. Our defense really was the key to this game, the defense against kasi we reviewed their rotation, especially their focal point on offense, which are Manalang, Costello, and Roca Curva. And I told them, they play heavy minutes, they lahat ng score nila nandun yung focal point ng offense sila. So we really did our best, and we made our defensive game plan against them, and the boys my team executed well, and I credit them for that. Especially si Jeremy, grabe yung depensa niya kay Manalang.
Okay, Coach, you will be facing Pampanga, no? Okay. So what are the challenges that you anticipate in the best of 3 semifinal series?
Well, I think Pampanga is the strongest team in the league, no. We have to first of all, kailangan muna kami magpahinga muna siguro, no. Pampanga is a tough team. They're complete in all position. Of course, they have a good system. We will respect them, but we definitely we will prepare against them. Man for man, I guess Pampanga, they have young, fresh legs, especially now nakapahinga sila. But we will rest, and definitely we will prepare against Pampanga.
Jeromer, after scoring 12 points nung game 1, 2 points ka nung last game nyo, pero nakabawi ka ngayong game 3. Ano yung in-improve mo from your last game kaya nakabawi at nakatulungan mo yung team mo ngayon?
Siguro yung adjustment ko lang na ginawa is yung nung game 2 kasi talaga ako check na check talaga ako. Alam talaga ni Coach Boyet kung paano ko bantayan. So yung ginawa ko, nag-focus ako sa depensa. Kasi yun nga, tulad ng mga sinasabi nila coach, mga coaches ko, mga teammates ko, sinasabi lagi na depensa kasi yung Manalang, 23 points last game. So sa isip ko, stopin ko lang yung Manalang. Bahala na nung mangyari. Basta i-limit ko lang siya. Yun lang yung game plan ko na paulit-ulit ko lang na tinatak sa isip ko. Yun lang.
For Coach.